Market back downside here to kick things off on a Friday morning as we head towards triple witching end of the day. 5.7 trillion in options set to expire by the end of day today. We'll touch on that coming up. Oil back to the upside. Meanwhile, 118 coming into play for Brent crude. Once again, 119 even at the highs. Back downside a little bit here. West Texas Intermediate, WTI, notably more or less unchanged, back to about 96 here, so that divergence continuing. We'll touch on a couple of individual movers here. Yeah, that's how the market's looking right now. It's worth noting as well, absolutely nothing to worry about as far as the economic calendar goes today. So we've had the entire week, it feels like, of economic events and individual market moving numbers, but we'll get a bit of a break from that coming up this morning. FedEx, one moving around here this morning. We'll touch on NVIDIA once again on its own headline. It seems like a daily occurrence, but it's worth starting things off with that move, apparently. FedEx looking pretty good here so far pre-market after a good report.
A great report, and I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the daily on FedEx lately. It doesn't look that bad. I remember talking to Neil about this maybe like 3 or 4 weeks ago. It looked good then. It's probably looking a little bit better now with this earnings report, Brendo. Not a bad look at all, and we haven't seen the same from some of their counterparts, UPS as well as USPS with the Amazon tie-up. We spoke about that yesterday. Good morning, guys. Lots to talk about. NVIDIA expanding the AWS deal, looking to sell them a lot of chips. We're also looking at Amazon possibly getting back into the smartphone business after maybe 15 years.
I chuckled. I read that this morning, and I just thought, why?
They got the money, right? And they have Alexa.
Maybe they're bored.
They're probably trying to build some sort of consumer AI framework. But really what I have my eye on is SMCI. This is another bad kind of look for the company that's already had trouble with reputational risk. And this XPeng, one we don't talk about all that much, reported earnings this morning, not looking that good. A couple of space names as well, Planet Labs and New York Space Systems, if you're into that kind of thing. Both were the reports this morning.
Yeah, I saw that pop up on my phone last night, this SMCI China thing, if you missed it. The CEO arrested for, I laugh, but it's probably not that funny. Selling these NVIDIA chips under the table into China. So it was pretty late when that actually came out last night, but absolutely got hammered. 2250 comes into play here this morning, trying to bounce a little bit right now. That's all deep rent, so disregard that candle, but trying to bounce a little bit off this 2250. But like you said, this is just yet another red mark on this company.
And quite frankly, like, this area of the market is really under the microscope right now, okay? They don't want China getting their hands on these advanced AI chips. So you've got to make the assumption that they already knew that they were under surveillance, yet they went along with it anyway. So I don't know what's going on with that company.
I mean, I guess you can make the argument, though. This does, confirm that the demand coming out of China is there, and, they're willing to go to whatever lengths they need to get their hands on these.
Remember, Brendo, in the heart of Mongolia, there's a data center with a bunch of Blackwells, if you believe the report. So I'm not shocked about that, quite frankly.
DeepSeek's a little bit better than anyone thinks.
There you go.
What a move. Yeah, better part of $10 here. Still, guys, chopping around at 2250. Lots to deal with this morning. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Just when you thought we should be talking, like we were going to be talking about the move in, like, afternoon move to the upside in the markets and downside in oil, and then you'd be celebrating FedEx being up nearly double digits. There's a couple of even some small cap space companies or satellite companies that have done well. There's just most of it was pretty good.
Yeah.
And then this nonsense from SMCI. Nobody's going to...
I mean, I was saying this to you guys earlier. Like, it's not really a market thing, right? I mean, it seems like it's very isolated.
This is them.
Right. It's not like it's all of a sudden like you're not allowed to export into China or anything like that. They just did it the wrong way. And as Neil's screen shows you right now, down 27.25 percentage points right now for SMCI. I think it's way overdone, but I mean, I think it's the exactly. It's will you want to continue to do business with them? Is there going to be some, restrictions now placed onto them? And will business go elsewhere, right?
Dell's up 5 points today.
Yeah, so I think it's not good, man. You can't charge the co-founders with this smuggling of AI chips and of these import and export rule restrictions that they violated and things like that. What was violated was the 50-period moving average on gold. I actually just tweeted this out right now. Pretty interesting little stat thing that I found, and it's right here. And it's just gold right here. Precious metal is on pace for its worst monthly drop since October of 2008. What was happening in 2008 again? But, you know, I mean, there it is right there. This is not a good percentage point move down to the downside here, down about 11 or 12%. There's the move in 08 where we went down about 18 or I think it was 16% that month. And there it is right there. So following some good up months, obviously, for gold. And we've had a really good run since, you know, 04 into 05, 06 here. But yeah, this month, gold tipping down a little bit. So I'm wondering here, are we a little overdone potentially to the downside? Whenever you start hearing, you know, different situations like that, you know, historical levels. I mean, that's 18 years ago, right? Like that's a big movement for gold this month. So there it was, breaking the 50-period moving average and then just creating a little bit of a cascade. Like, it doesn't look that dramatic here because of the move that gold's had, but that's why you have to go back 18 years and see, like, gold doesn't normally go from at the beginning of 2005, 25, 240 up to 480. You know, that's a complete double up right there in a year, pretty much, for gold. So this move down could be just sort of one of those moments where the market did have a little bit of a rally yesterday, but as we start to fear, you know, what's next as far as this war, it was supposed to take days, then weeks, now it looks like months. Are the allies, or, you know, whatever sort of sides you're taking here, on the same page? Will it ever come to an end? What's going on with the commodity space? So silver and gold continue to get hit here, and maybe a little bit of a rebound day. I have silver written on here as a long today, so we'll be looking at some SLV. It's not up as much as gold is, but we did have a stair-stepping up situation. It's actually down. I don't know, maybe those are some weird prints, but it did have a stair-stepping up situation yesterday where we just kept climbing. We bounced off VWAP a couple times. We bounced off the 200-period moving average. So I actually got pretty aggressive with it here today. If we come anywhere back into like yesterday's close, 64.50, 65 bucks, which maybe we're at right now, we got to watch out for some of these deep prints here. But if we can get into 65 bucks again for silver, I think that's a spot where, you know, I'm somewhat interested in that as well. So, you know, we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, we ticked another point up, a couple of points higher on that old rate raise.
Oh, we did? What is it now? Raise is 8%.
8%. So this is, someone in the chat was just like, yeah, Neil, it does feel like we expected things to feel better in the markets after the way the afternoon went yesterday. But then you're reminded of how things were after the Fed on Wednesday, which was, it was feeling pretty negative, and it wasn't until that afternoon Netanyahu press conference that really turned things around. And look, personally, I don't think that we get a rate hike, but the simple fact that you're having any kind of increase in those odds, like, that's gonna weigh on us a little bit here. And possibly, like, some of that sentiment coming back is a bit of the issue. But, you know, to the point of looking at bounces, like gold, silver could bounce. Bitcoin's back over, it's been not that great, and it's back over 70K today. So I feel like, hey, there are some places out there where you're holding on to those gains that we saw, or at least a good portion of the gains we saw in the afternoon. Like, I look at anything that's holding out that top. Like, this is IBIT, obviously, not like Bitcoin Direct, as we look at the ETF. But anything that's holding out support from those gains, and that's like, and it's got a support level at 70,000, right here. Like, so I have IBIT on the note. It's like, unless it breaks underneath that 39.75, I'm fine trending underneath it. But hey, sometimes the market is split between two forces. Our sentiment from the Fed on Wednesday, and then, you know, maybe some relief with the conflict last night. So I don't want to get into this whole like guessing game. Like, the things that showed strength in the afternoon, if they're holding on to that strength, okay, I kind of like that for the long side, and I can be in the other direction for other stocks. And just to point out, I think I don't know if we did show Dell's chart for the SMCI thing. We would have mentioned, you know, competitors doing well. It, yeah. But like, Dell's literally at a triple top here and up 5%. So this should be like on the watch. Like, I probably should have thrown it in, and just on the bottom line there, Dell up in sympathy to this SMCI move up 5%. I don't know that it makes this triple top break today. Remember, it is witching, so there's going to be a lot of volatility at the open. You have a lot of contracts expiring. So you get to a 165, it's the kind of day where you get to these big strikes, and tricky early on to break through them. But if they do, sometimes you get the crazy rally. You can get a crazy rally. So I think this is probably going to be on some radars as well as SMCI directly here. So. Yeah, volatility is going to be in this.
Remember yesterday we saw that big imbalance there in Toronto. Okay, not loading. I was trying to load up our page here. We'll have to let this load up.
I couldn't
to see the numbers. Okay, so maybe it's not loading. I'll figure out a different stat. I wanted to see if there's any money made on that because we talked about the witching. And right now there are. I mean, normally when we log in now, you're like 100,000 shares is something that is respectable. And right now, it's all buy side. Right now, Nike with a poor sell. That's one of the only sells we see there. Nike and Ford. Okay, yeah, Ford's $11 again. What the hell? This thing was $14 not too long ago. Come on, Ford. Look at this. Look at this drop off there. Whoosh, right there for Ford. Ford getting clapped right now. Wow. Okay. Not good. I didn't even realize that was happening for Ford. But okay, PM, just looking around here. XOM with a buy, BAC with a buy, Coke, Kenvue, Philip Morris, Procter & Gamble. Like these are all nice buys already starting here today. Uber with a little bit of a bid as well to start. And remember, this is options expiry and everything like that. It's March. It's the third Friday. So, we're going to be getting a lot on the quarter expirations, triple witching, not quad anymore. So we're excited to see what kind of options hit the market at open and at close. So I won't be here for the close, but Neil and Obi will take you through that. Probably more exciting. Sometimes you see, like, even in Toronto here, just to show you guys. There you go. Well, yeah, it's not even TD.
Well, that doesn't make any sense.
Why does it say $1.75? Oh, yeah. But I was going to say, like, with $1.75 by $1.75. Let me go over to RY. Sometimes you see big. Yeah, no, again, I don't know what's going on here with these little dollars. This is a $220 stock, so I don't know why this is at 103 here. So we're probably having some problems.
Now that's a stinker.
With someone's trying to get long at $1 over here.
Yeah, because they never break that trade.
What's another big one? Let me look at Shopify in Toronto just to see if. Yeah, so there's something going on with these Toronto quotes here today with the bid side is off. But I just wanted to show you that sometimes.
Imagine getting that for $3 to Shopify?
Well, here, can you zoom in? I don't know, Andre, if you can even zoom in. But like this is right up here. See the size up here? It's 1 million, like 2 million by 2 million. So this is what's going to, there's just a bid and an offer here on Shopify. Like, I don't know why this looks like this, but that's generally speaking, you're going to get some big trades right off the bat. Like Shopify in Toronto will probably do 5 to 10 million shares on a busy day. And right now, today, right off the open, you're going to get like a 2 million share print or so. So I just wanted to show that to you. Different strokes for different folks, but that's what's going to be happening here on the imbalances this morning. So. That's interesting. I guess there must be a bunch of crossed bids and offers there. Yeah. So we have something in our software where you can actually hide crossed and locked markets. So there's probably something happening there in the pre-market.
Also an hour till the
Yeah. It's probably too early. We don't even really look at Toronto.
You look at that at 9 o'clock, it'll be Monday.
Yeah. Let me remember that and call that back at 9 o'clock. So, okay, guys. Yeah, that's it for us here. Silver and gold and Bitcoin's up 70,060 again. So 7,600. That's a good one there for IBIT. Hopefully that can battle back. We did dip down into 69,000 and change yesterday, but there's the nice move, as Neil mentioned. At the end of the day, the market started to rip a little bit higher there. We didn't quite get to open levels, but we got pretty close there. So IBIT looking pretty good today as well. All right, it's 8:13. Let's go back over to the boys at the desk.
I couldn't shower until 9:30. I was really upset about that.
Sharif and I are talking about condo issues. I've been there. Trust me, I've been there.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
Condo life.
Yeah. They have these like random water disruptions, and they always say it's going to be a certain amount of time, but it never ends up. It never ends up being that.
4 hours, man.
I know. Lots of analysts talking about energy names this morning. I was just cycling through a few of these. XLE overall, if you want to just have a look at the ETF, up and away here once again this morning. We're basically right at the highs from yesterday. We got all the way up to 59.75 there at the highs yesterday. A little bit of a tick higher here. I mean, more attacks on LNG products and LNG manufacturing facilities over in the Middle East, late into the night yesterday. So that was the first thing I read this morning. I mean, the individual producers not really doing much today, but I mean, that chart we just saw there tells the story.
So much to talk about here. I mean, I don't know if you heard about what Qatar's response was to the attacks on their LNG facilities. 4 to 5 years to build these things back up. Took seconds to destroy them. Going to take half a decade to rebuild them. That's one side of the other. The other side of the equation here, the IAE saying has warned it could take 6 months to restore oil and gas flows from the Gulf. Separately, we saw some positivity yesterday with some NATO countries, Canada included, signing a letter, a joint letter, basically saying that they're going to help secure the Strait of Hormuz. There was no details articulated as to what they were going to offer in terms of logistics. Are they going to send out frigates, destroyers? Are they going to send out these ships that detect these sea mines that Iran has been apparently laying out? So there's a lot of unanswered questions, but you don't like I personally don't like the escalation to hitting the oil and the energy facilities because number one, that's going to take a long time to get back online, as Qatar has kind of shown, and number two, that's less supply that comes online. And where's that going to come from? So the price is higher for longer, so to speak.
And then in the same time, or the same sentence almost, we get news that some more traffic is being allowed through the strait, and a few more our boats are actually getting through. So that's how XOM is looking right now, just kind of chopping around where we ended the day yesterday. I mean, all of these producers worth watching once again this morning, guys. But XOM, look what happened yesterday at the open there on more headlines. This is going to continue to be a very headline-driven market.
Yeah, one of the things is if you differentiate, I think sometimes between the energy names, when I look at the XLE, look, the ETF's fantastic, but I think looking at what happened yesterday at the morning, I come to CVX because as Brendan mentioned, XOM. We'll load that one up first because that's what Brendan had just brought up. XOM completely dumped 2%, right off the bat at the open. It was able to get it back, and you have this interesting consolidation over there. But just sort of look at what happened with Chevron in the exact same moment. Well, not the exact same, but around the same moment, Chevron was breaking out the top and continuing to new highs. So yeah, I just feel like this is, I like this one, candid look, I own shares of Chevron, not XOM, but in this particular case, one went up when the other was going down, and we do have some strength in here. So as much as you might not see it, a ton of strength. I'm still, NatGas down 2.7%, USO's flat. There is some strength in the space. XLE is actually looking pretty good. You have to pick and choose sometimes in names and at least note which ones are strong and weak so that if you decide to express a trade or jump over, maybe you prefer the long in the one that's got a little bit more strength. I think that can be a good way to play in the energy space. But I did want to, if you look at the weekly on the XLE, there hasn't even been, there's one there's just one not really hiccup because I look at that candle and it's actually a pretty bullish looking candle. And I'm not sure why it's even painted. It's one of those you gap up and you end the week red, so it ends up being a red candle, but ultimately it's still pretty bullish. There hasn't been any kind of a true pullback in this ETF. And so sometimes you got to zoom out a little bit further. And until we get some really big news, I think this theme looks pretty good. There's going to be crazy reactions intraday to any kind of headline, that's one thing. But when we start thinking about an actual resolution, no one seems to know when, and even Netanyahu kind of walked back those comments. He said, I don't have a stopwatch or something like that. That's when it would happen, even though it was positive comments. You look at the monthly chart, this was a breakout that was trying to happen for a long time on XLE anyways. Throw that out there. Yeah, you needed a catalyst, but you'd been leading into this move regardless, and there's still a lot of momentum, but you have to look at the individual names under the hood that are strong. CVX is looking much better than XOM at this moment.
Yeah, so I was just going to say about USO, yesterday, this is the trading that we did in the afternoon, and it went lower than this. We didn't, these aren't our complete outs, but we started shorting it around 1 o'clock underneath VWAP as some of those talks started to ramp up in the afternoon yesterday. And then you could see what happened near the end of the day where everything took off right back there, right up to the upside. So this is when the short sort of started. We rode VWAP all the way up. Then once we broke VWAP, this is where we started to engage, you know, in the shorts, and then whoops, all the way down. And then we broke VWAP, and then it ripped right into the close and got back up to 124 on USO. What in that? I didn't realize it got that high. But there it goes, just ripping uncontrollably there. And then you could see into yesterday's trading, there's us breaking through VWAP again and all the way down, and then before a nice little bit of a move back. So this is the shorts that we had yesterday underneath VWAP, and then, you know, the collapse with volume picking up on news. So I think that as we look at names like CVX and XLE and all that, you know, we are going to keep our ear to the ground. And, you know, if some of that talk starts to ramp up again, you know, we'll be here to try to short it. It could happen at any time. As you can see here, 11:30, right to the upside there. And yesterday we had Boyle and all that moving around as nat gas in Europe started to get real expensive. So we'll see. I don't have USO written down here today, but again, like very, very news-based, and I was not expecting this kind of a move yesterday, but it happened. So, you know, keep our ear to the ground for USO, and we'll see if we're able to trade it again here today. This is the light sweet crude oil futures over here on NYMEX, down a little bit. Well, okay, not down actually. Starting to go down, but flat on the day here is USO. So we'll be looking at that. I may add it to the list just as a little note of news, right? I mean, you want to make sure that's not USO. Here it is. You might want to add it. Thank you so much, Rob, for this one. Always the best with the cups again. And we can never forget about Christmas time.
Christmas
cups. And I think, which one did you get? Oh, you got a nice, you got a, like a springtime cup.
Oh,
we're going. Thank you, Rob. We're going different. You know, different.
Black and white though. Like
you got the nice positive spring. I got the.
Christmas is always, man. Christmas is awesome. Any holiday that brings family together is the best. I don't give you make one up.
Well, that's why Thanksgiving is so nice. Thanksgiving in the United States is such a. That's one of the largest traveling days I think of the year.
Exactly.
Or that season is Thanksgiving. Because Christmas, you have more like, some people travel mid-December, late December, and it's kind of like, but Thanksgiving is just that like one weekend. So it's like, it's a crazy travel time. Easter actually coming up is quite a big celebratory situation.
Yeah, I guess.
What, is that the third week in April this year? I'm not sure.
It's early. I actually have to look it up.
In 2 weeks, okay. So early April.
Shoot.
Oh, shoot,
it's
okay.
like, it is 2 weeks.
All right, I like that one.
Where are you going,
We get Good Friday off.
Baby.
Oh, Punta Cana.
I just looked at our calendar and I just find out when it was.
I was trying to look up some Punta Cana places as well, but I don't know.
I didn't approve it.
Joe didn't approve that, so it's going to be Joe and Obi. What day is Sharif off? Next? Like 2 weeks. Yeah. Okay, I don't know. Apparently Joe's over here. He wants to tell us something, so let's go over to Joe.
Wow. All right, man. No, let's get into some of the options talk, guys. We know that we have options expiration today, so watch out for the volume at the beginning, right? You're going to see an increase in the imbalances. So you're going to see out of the larger names, the Apples, the NVIDIAs, the Microsoft, and the Googles, and even the SPY and the triple Qs, a substantial amount of volume start to step in at the open. All right, so keep your eyes out on that. There's going to be a lot of volume, and then the imbalances at the close as well too. You're going to see an increase. Okay, so just be prepared to leave yourself some risk as well for the end of the day, because there could be some solid opportunities. Now, guys, let's move forward here and take a look at some of the derivatives. This is going to be RIVN here signing that deal with Uber. Now, what we have is a contract that's essentially worth nothing, and it's unfortunate that you cannot close or open any contracts within the pre-market or in the post-market. Because look what happened to RIVN yesterday right after the open. It essentially sold off the majority of its move, in which you got that pop after hearing that catalyst. Now, you're not going to get any form of movement within the contract, because essentially you have that pop and then it fades throughout the rest of the day, essentially to where that opening price started. Now, as for the open interest, guys, 31,000 still open that are going to expire this evening. And then we have volume around 10,900. Dollar spread, not too bad. Delta, I mean, it's almost non-existent at that point, $2 there. And then your gamma, which is relatively higher, right? Like you have a $4 gamma opposed to a $2 delta, which can lead you into some trouble if you were to get that form of a squeeze. So be patient, maybe something will step in, but the probability of that happening is very unlikely. And why do I say that? Because look at our delta metric. We have a 98% chance that this contract is going to expire out of the money. All right, now at the money, I implied volatility. Oh, okay. 93.6%. Now we're back. Yeah, we'll do it all over again. 93.6% there, guys. So you're going to get an increase, obviously based off of that catalyst. Now a name that had pretty much a really sleeper day, in my opinion. This was just steady up and to the right. That's AMD. We haven't pulled this up in quite some time. Open interest sitting around 20,900 with your volume around 15,800. You're having there's a $6 spread there. Wouldn't be surprised if that tightens up a little bit after the open. Once again, this is all documented after the close. Now, as for your delta metric, you're only sitting at $11 there, that 11 delta. And your gamma, it's even relatively cooler than what we just seen in RIVN. At the money IV, 55.6%. Let's see if it continues on that trajectory. This is going to be another name as well, too, guys, that you're going to see that increase in volume right out of the gate just due to its options popularity. So, yeah, look forward to it. Be cautious. There's going to be some volatility out of the gate. A lot of what I typically notice is that most of the volume comes in on Apple. Keep an eye out on Apple just in case you see anything, guys.
Apple whole time. We're just talking about the whole like AMD up and to the right. AMD had a great day, but I'm just like, what other direction are the charts going to go? Now it can go down and to the right, it can go flat and to the right. I feel like we know we go to the right. And that I was like crying about the fact that my daughter's into Splatoon, and they're one of those. It's like a game, but the books or the comics, I guess, they read like backwards. So the book is backwards, and you read right to left. And we're reading one together. She was just constantly like, "That's not what's next, Dad." Yeah, I'm like,
yeah, you got to read the other way around. Yeah,
you read all of your life the one way. I almost said the correct way. Whatever, you left to right. Try reading something which is the other. It's so, you would think it's simple, but it's like kind of like when they tell you to ride a bike. Have you ever tried riding one of those bikes that's where it's like...
I can't even ride it with, you know how some people can ride it without their hands on there? I can't
But there's like a thing, if you tried with like a reverse bike, like you know it's reverse, right? Like it's told, but it takes forever mentally. It's just so hard to do to be able to get it going. Or like...
Sometimes I'm on like the elliptical and you go one way, and then sometimes you go the other way to work a different part, and then all of a sudden, yeah, it kind of messes you up a little bit
brains are
on that one. But
he's dead right.
Yeah, you don't want the charts to go to the bottom left. You know, no. Either upper right or lower right. You don't ever want to go left bound there. I mean, you can't take back time.
But you know what, we talked about this yesterday in the context of NVIDIA a lot, and probably should have mentioned this with AMD bouncing off the 200 period. And it's because it was NVIDIA, and we're always caring about this. There's your 200 period moving average. Technically, it did get a bounce. What is happening now? But AMD did the same thing.
Andre's lost his damn mind over there.
The exact same thing and did it better. So respect it. If a stock respects a moving average, then I respect it.
Here we go. This Hamster wants to know if we're, it's fun. I mean, I think we should do some more random things like that. I think that's great. Do you buy properties 70% off? I don't think that's necessarily true, Hamster. But yeah, man, send me some listings, and we'll get over there ASAP. That's probably an expensive flight. So despite it being 70% off, I think I would be paying more in flight just to get over there every time. But I think hopefully all this Middle East stuff is, close to resolve. I don't get that feeling, but
I'd imagine that's 70% is probably not true.
Yeah, well, there probably are some spaces that maybe are. There are a lot of the wealthier, like what I was reading too, is obviously they're bunkering down a little bit because you never know. Like if you're in that Burj Khalifa, I mean, it's such a beautiful building. All those, but those are the targets. Unfortunately, I mean, I hate talking like that, but that is, I can even imagine being in that situation, like where, you're going to bed and you don't know, what may happen overnight or whatever.
Lucky and blessed to not have to worry about that kind of a thing is.
The fact that, you have no control where you're born or anything like that, and you just deal with what you deal with. So, but anyways, we'll probably get too political here in a couple minutes. So anyways, yeah, good luck and safe travels to everybody in the Middle East for sure these days. Yeah, it's just happens happens right now. And we talked about oil and how it affects the market and things like that. So yeah, but thanks, Hamster. We'll look at that. Oil right now down 1.3%. Starting to get a little lower here. I'm not too concerned about anything, ears to the ground on anything happening with energy these days. So I don't know what Michael's going to talk about, but energy may be something. We did have, I don't know if Michael saw that, the lowest monthly move. He loves monthly things over here. Right now, we're on pace for one of the worst months in gold since '08, Michael. So another move down there in GLD yesterday. We'll see if it can bounce today. But all right, let's go back over the desk and see what the boys are up to.
Almost the same, but he wants to talk about rockets in a different kind of a way and some space stocks that are setting up here a little bit better than the rest, I guess, is the best way to talk about it at this point, because I mean, Sharif and I were just talking about a few names that if you go out to a monthly time frame, it's getting kind of ugly out here on the individual basis. But then you look at the market, as you and I have talked about before, we're 6% off the highs for the S&P 500. It feels way worse than that.
Yeah, it's a weird market. I was listening to a podcast this morning. I heard a quote. I haven't done the math myself, but it's like 42% of the S&P 500 is in a bear market, so down 20% or more. And that's just kind of the environment we're in. Also means that the other 60% isn't. So, you can focus on the stuff that's going down and the stuff that's not working, or you can run some scans and you can look for things that might be setting up if we get some sort of tweet that I think unwinds most of this at some point. You get a declaration of victory or some sort of peace deal or something like that happening. And that's what I've been spending a lot of my time doing, is building systems to find things that are consolidating and actually holding up, because we know about half the market's holding up and half the market's in an ugly bear market. So it's a very, very split one. So the chart that I brought to start with is just UFO, which, again, hilarious ticker. Good job there, which is space. So it's all of these kind of space companies. I'm sure you guys have seen and probably talked about the news with Planet Labs doing very well overnight and in the open. So even though we're gapping down, this one's doing great. And I was just looking at this and saying, okay, well, this looks nice from my eyes, and we know that I'm a technician and a quant, so I want to be able to quantify this as well. But this is a nice looking chart. Had a nice strong move in the end of last year, beginning of this one, and it's been consolidating. It's been digesting those gains. Next chart here is just the same chart over the S&P 500, just showing exactly what we're talking about, that there's some sectors that, regardless of what's going on in the world and the market, is doing great. So the relative outperformance to the S&P 500 from these space names has been great. It's up and to the right, everything's looking good, actually making new all-time high yesterday. So relative outperformance looking really great. What we're seeing with Planet Labs, or the space one that was doing so well, that's going to push this up a little bit more. But let's quantify this move a little bit instead of saying that just looks nice. That's one thing that I like to do with technical analysis. So the next chart is just an indicator that I've talked about a couple times before, and it's this concept of Bollinger Bands. A lot of people look at Bollinger Bands and they're looking at it in this kind of mean reverting fashion. So, I'm going to buy the lower Bollinger Band and sell the upper. But really what they were invented for was a ability to look at how volatile a stock is, because they're using standard deviation and they're using volatility as a metric. So this particular indicator on the bottom, it's just showing that when these indicators very low, it means that the stock isn't moving too much around its 20-period moving average. And when the indicator is very high, then yes, it's moving a whole lot. And by looking at this, you're able to kind of quantify this when things get tight, because we know if you look at any metric of volatility, you look at the VIX, you look at this particular chart, you have periods of incredibly high volatility, and then you have periods of incredibly low volatility. So volatility is mean reverting in nature. Prices aren't. They're usually trending in nature. So if you can spot these areas of incredibly low volatility, they can set up for great trades, in the fact that if you're wrong, right where you're wrong right away, right? If this sector or any of these names I talk about break out, then I'm going to be interested in them. But I know there's going to be roughly 50-50 chance that they just break back in. But by using these, compressed volatilities in these tight bases, exactly where you're wrong very quickly. It's why breakout trading, I think, is so successful and so popular. Because again, if I'm right and this thing makes a new leg high, that'll be great. And if I'm wrong, I'll lose a little bit and I'll move on here. just some individual names that are showing the same characteristic. ASTS, I know this is a kind of a crowd favorite. This one has done a really good job. You can see, again, the purple highlight of the indicator below saying this is relatively tight. And compared to a stock that I think last year went from a couple bucks to like $100 a share, the fact that it's moving around in like a 10-point range is actually very, very characteristically tight for this particular company. So that one's interesting. If we can get back above, I like that it's like the psychological whole number of $100. If we're above $100, I probably want to be in. If we break back down under $100, I'll probably be out pretty quickly. And then the next one here is Rocket Lab, and I wanted to show this one just zooming back a little bit to show the last time we got this very low reading in the Bollinger Bands and the market got very tight. It led to a nice little breakout. It wasn't huge. It wasn't a monster run, but it was a decent little trade of, okay, this thing's going to start moving and breaking out of this base. I get this kind of couple month actionable signal that I can get a pretty decent return over. Who knows if it's going to happen again, but I'm just looking at this one around the kind of $80 a share mark. If we can get up and above that $80 share, see if we can get to, 100, 110. And then again, the beauty of this is that that base gives me a very clear out. If we ever trade back below that base, if we ever trade back into the very low 70s, then I know I'm 100% wrong and I can just kill the trade, move on. And at the end of the day, that's what we're looking for. It's just very clear signals of, this is when I want to take a shot, knowing that when I'm wrong, when do I get out? And if that risk reward is positive, then that's a great trade for me.
It's really easy to, I think for a lot of people maybe who haven't dug into a space like space and really understand, what individual companies do in that group, to overthink a trade like this when they see negative headlines, market just goes down every day. It seems like, everything's bad. But when you look at some of these charts, they're holding up, as you said, much better than, 90+% of the overall market at this point. From a investment standpoint, I think, a lot of people, I don't even know if I have a question here, but a lot of people, may struggle with wrapping their head around something they're not terribly familiar with from that standpoint.
And it's the problem with, I think it's just human beings in general. We always focus on not so much the negative, but the risks, right? We're always worried about, okay, what's going to happen to the markets? And there's, I'm not one who, even as a CMT, who's going to say that technical analysis is perfect and it's a great thing to do all the time for every single trade, and you don't ever need to know the news around you. But one thing it does very well is it quantifies and simplifies and I think quiets things down. I kind of pretend sometimes that the rest of the world doesn't exist when I look at these charts, because it allows me to kind of focus on what is the actual price action doing. Like these candles and these charts that we look at, they're just behavioral economics. It's just saying that when some of these stocks, software, Rocket Lab being a perfect example, software stocks are down, 60% from all-time high, and Microsoft's having a bad time, and Meta's getting crushed, and, the world out there seems to be going insane. But for whatever reason that I don't know, and I will never know, they're not selling Rocket Lab, right? That this base is not breaking down. That's a fact that I can kind of put my finger on and try to use that to shut out the rest of the noise. Now, could that change even today? Yeah, we could not get this breakout and this thing could just roll over and I don't know, okay, it could go to zero. I have no idea. But sometimes I think kind of blocking everything out and just looking and saying, I don't know why they're not breaking these stocks down, but they're not. And that shows me that at least there is either some institutional people buying to hold them up, or there's just a lack of selling to push them down. Again, I'll never know. I'll never know the reason why. I just know that that's a fact, and that's a fact that I can kind of touch and make decisions based off of.
Totally unrelated, but kind of an interesting note just popped up in front of me here. If you go out on VIX futures contracts right now, the front month contracts out 3 or 4 months, the curve is essentially flat. So the market essentially pricing in no uptick in volatility, or no downtick at this point really in volatility. One of the things that has really slowed down this move down in the overall market is the fact that volatility remains relatively low. We've had days where we've spiked but just come right back down. It'd be interesting to kind of understand how that comes into play, because as we said to start this off, market feels much worse than it is. It's 6% off the highs. Could be it could be easily. I mean, you got to go back to, I was saying this morning, you got to go all the way back to August levels of last year before we even get to that 10% mark.
Yeah, and sentiment seems to be very split as well. You know, there's a lot of just anecdotally, just scrolling through Twitter, people don't seem too freaked out in a lot of things. But then if you look at the AII investor sentiment, it's as bearish as it's been in the last couple of years. I saw something that the put call ratio, the amount of people buying insurance against the market or buying puts against the market, is higher than it's been in years, and equaling the tariff tantrums when we were down pretty much in a straight line, down 20%, and everyone kind of felt very worried. So I wonder if even sentiment is getting skewed at this point between, you know, what we're seeing kind of happen in the world and then what's actually happening with the stock market out there. And it's certainly not easy, but I just will say that is a power of, you know, looking at the charts and looking at the price action, is that sometimes what you're seeing happening out there is just not affecting stocks the way you think they might. And trying to kind of separate those two in your mind become very, very hard. And the only tool that I know to do it is, you know, technical analysis or some sort of quantitative analysis of price.
On that note, happy trading on a Friday where we're going towards a massive options expiry at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Maybe some volatility from that. Great to see you, Michael Noss. Have a good weekend. We'll catch up on Monday.
Have a great weekend. Talk to you guys soon.
Thank you, Michael. All right, yeah, guys, don't forget options expiration. If you missed it not too long ago, a lot of volume going to be stepping into the market at the open and around the close. All right, guys, let's get right into things and see what some of the analyst actions are up to here today. Now, we're going to start some things off with Mosaic, relatively quiet here this morning, going from a buy to a neutral and getting its price target lowered from $33 to $30 by B of A. You're down almost 1% here this morning. Now, BMO also getting the downgrade as well, too, guys, going from an equal weight to an underweight, and a price target of 199 Canadian dollars by Barclays. Rigetti also getting its price target lowered from $35 to $25 by benchmark. And then we have Alibaba getting the price target its price target lowered as well, too, from 174 to $164. Moving forward, we'll take a look at some of the upgrades. CMG Chipotle, Mexican Grill, getting the nod, guys, going from a neutral way to an outperform here. You're positive 1.3% and a price target of $40. That was initially $37 by Mizuho. ARM Holdings also getting the nod, guys, going from a reduced to a buy. So a double upgrade right there, 3.6% this morning. Price target from $90 to $205. So that's a substantial move there by HSBC. And then we have BP also, guys, getting the nod from a reduced to a hold. 35.10 was that initial target, getting an increase to 45.30. Now Solar Edge also getting the nod as well. $30 to $49, guys, by Jefferies.
Yeah, well, it's I look at ARM down there and it's like, look, man, ARM, you buy it when it gets to or breaks 100, it just feels like that's the spot to grab it. And this has been since it's like, you know, a great IPO. This is what you want an IPO to do. Well, I mean, it still actually broke the lows originally, but then you get the IPO breakout, which would be when it takes out that prior price for good. And then since then, that breakout area has turned into support on ARM. And you buy it under $100, at or under 100, like bang, kind of, bang, bang. But can it actually break the 200 period? Because it's been range bound. Like when it breaks the 200, it tends to get to 170, 180. So I'd look for this to make another potential leg maybe next week. Upgrades and downgrades, just for a catalyst for the day, to have it do something that the market doesn't do on its own is a bit much, right? Like we're up 4% on it. To expect that you would see this breakaway today is a bit much, but you get a close above next week, and I think this one has some room to rally there. So I'm going to put it on the radar for next week for a trade. We just tick back a little bit here in some comments from Waller, but I don't know if this happens this week. But I do like the look of this chart, and the next time, you know, ARM gets down at that 100, I know I like it down there. Candidly, I own the stock, but this one could break away next week, I think.
I was going to say here, sorry about that. I was going to say that Chipotle right here made a little bit of a bottom at $30 already. We've gotten a little bit of a bounce back up, and it's still 10%, like 30 up to 33. seems like it's going to be in trouble. But if there was going to be any sort of a upgrade that I'd like to read about more, I think just in the way that this has been, you know, getting, oh, man, there we got the split, getting crushed to the downside right here. I mean, down 50%. I mean, that high right there is 66 bucks. You're at 33 right now. So down that 50%, you know, could make a move back to the high side. But I still think Chipotle is in trouble. Like if you're long this name, look out for like a 36. You can get a 36 bump or something on this upgrade over the next couple of weeks. That might be a decent spot to get out. 50 period obviously starting to turn down here. And we've seen, you know, what's sort of happened when these 50 periods have turned down. Now, when they start to turn upside is maybe when you can get involved. But, you know, even right here, a little upside turn there didn't result in much. So I'm looking at more downward pressure for Chipotle. But I think if you can get a bump into 36, 37 bucks right up into there, decent area to get out of your long if you've taken it. So could be a possible swing trade on Chipotle, especially if this market picks up one more time, only up 1.5% today. So I think there's an opportunity to get some more Chipotle into your portfolio there, you know, but 36, 37 seems like it might be a top there. Yeah, thanks, Michael, for some of that talk there. The Rocket Labs of this world. I mean, some of these names that we talk about don't necessarily get bought every day, but there are some long-term stories involved with a lot of these names. So because the volatility in the market, some of the high-flying names get hit the easiest. So you got to watch out for some of that. We've seen like AVAV, Rocket Lab, and some other those names that continue to be good space, good names in the space continue to get hit sometimes on volatility and a little oversold. And I think Reddit's another one of those names where I think we can pick something up near these lows. But
that ASTS chart. Actually.
Oh yeah,
like
ASTS mobile. Yeah.
Only because I always like things like this, like when you get like an obvious wedge pattern on a stock. Like first of all, it's got this really good longer trend from when volume spiked up in the morning, mid last year in June. So that's going to correspond with the 200. So it gives you two things. Like if it breaks the wedge to the upside, you're holding the 50 period and you're breaking the wedge up. If you break the downward wedge, then you've got support from the trend line and you've got support of the 200 period. So you'd almost have that move in there, like 10 to 15 bucks. So this is another one to put an alert on next week. And if it breaks away, suddenly it's got a technical trade on it that we can observe. Oh, that's right. Chris Onion in the chat, ONDS.
Yeah, that was moving around.
Yeah, there was
there a
like
story?
Ondis was moving around. There's also a small capper, which don't mix them up because I know I do. Like it's ORBS is a small capper that's moving around. But Ondis was doing something like very similar, which didn't really do much after breaking out. And then one of the things, so it has a very similar chart to the ASTS, which I was just looking at, but it doesn't hold that 50 period. So like it does break a bit of a wedge pattern down. You could do, say it broke it here, but either way, however you want to draw it, it doesn't really do much off the 50 period moving average. And then the other small capper, ORBS here, I think it was ACO was trying to get a buck. And it failed $1. This one might be worth paying for locates because the dollar right now is VWAP. So if it makes a pre-market high, for it makes a pre-market high before 9 o'clock usually, and it can't retake it at the open, usually the short ends up good underneath the volume weighted average price. I'll put that one on the radar for short, but there's one for you there. Well, at least it was, Sharif. It's under VWAP, so I guess you won't like it anymore.
Always be above VWAP, Neil. I've been keeping an eye on this one. Big price spike up, went into 107, 108, but we always call this the Christmas tree retracement, as aggressive on the way up on the left side, and then it's green, then it's a little red, Brendo, dropping down below 97.5.
Yeah, I was just reading this note on Apple. There was a comment from, it didn't even say who in China, but China essentially telling Apple to commit to building stable supply chain. Okay. Apple's down 5% this month. If you zoom out, it's not great.
No, it's the memory.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about this for a while. It's been a concern of mine ever since we got the indication that the smartphone market was going to take a hit in 26. Apple won't be spared in the second half of this year. We've been talking about this. They have these LTAs, long-term agreements, which do protect them in the short term. But my understanding is, at least with their memory suppliers, those LTAs expire in August, meaning that the 18, the Fold, if you believe that's coming out this year, all, Brendo, they're going to either have to take a hit on margins or they're going to have to increase prices. Both, I don't think, are good in this economic climate when the consumer is a bit squeezed, looking to save here and there. And then obviously margins, one of the things that Apple touts, one of the highest margin games for a physical product, at least in that segment.
Yeah, I mean, important levels coming into play here, maybe in the next couple of days. 245 is that longer term area that if you go out to a daily chart, looks pretty good. That said, some of the other, Mag 7 stocks, I mean, I was just reading NVIDIA, the best off here, 1.7%.
Yeah.
It's not great.
No, it's not. And I feel like Jensen's on TV, or at least, a lot of these networks are basically covering NVIDIA a lot, and he's doing everything that he can to kind of move the needle with big announcements. We're going to sell 1 million chips to Amazon over the next few years. I see $1 trillion of demand by the end of the decade, up from 500 billion. These things typically would have gotten the stock to rocket. They really haven't. You can blame that on a couple of things, right? Yeah. The wait and see approach, maybe custom ASICs eating into his margins. The war that's happening right now is diverting people's attentions. Any number of reasons, but the fact of the matter is it's not breaking out.
Imagine if you go back a year. I was talking to someone about this the other day. If you go back a year, or whatever, just into a different macro environment, Jensen comes out and drops that 1 trillion.
That's what
number.
I mean.
Like, this thing would have been just an absolute rocket ship. And this is the daily chart still, just chopping around here, back and forth, guys. We're still dead stuck in the middle for NVIDIA.
Okay, so that's like, it's a fair point, and it is a great way to look at it. But there's another way to look at it as well. How about we go back a year? What is it, the 20th? We also go back a year and say it was 118 or 119 bucks. I mean, ballpark. I don't know exactly what that number is. $119 on NVIDIA. How many, would anybody be upset if you go back 1 year and said NVIDIA in exactly 1 year will be at basically 180 bucks? So 50% move. I don't think anybody would be not that happy with that. It's because it got to that point so quickly from March of last year to get to 180, and then hasn't done anything since. So I feel as if we're getting real complacent, right? It's not as if there haven't been other places to chase. Like, the AI trade has just started expressing. It expressed itself in different ways. The energy names started flying. Some of the infrastructure names went flying, and then we've had the crazy moves in Micron and SanDisk, and so there's been lots of places where it has been parabolic. I just feel like we've gotten so accustomed to how ridiculous NVIDIA was going for a while that we just sort of lose sight of how good it has been in this last calendar year, if you really put it into some perspective. All of that said, if we're just talking about NVIDIA today, the biggest difference for me is, the market's creeping up here a little bit, and NVIDIA is at that 50 period, and it's really not doing much with that support level. And as was mentioned, AMD bounced clean where you'd want it to. Like, the 190 support, the 50 period, the 200 period moving average, had a very good bounce. It's got a little bit more of a continuation step. If it were to dip, it wouldn't be underneath the support level. It would be pulling back into some prior highs in here, one at 200, which on a Friday is pretty good, and then here at 203. So, at least for today, if there's buy the dip situations in the chip name, the chart tells me that AMD looks a little bit better. And I don't prefer AMD to NVIDIA, by the way, at all, not from a value standpoint. I'm just talking about how it traded yesterday and what the chart looks like right now today.
Yeah, I think we talked about sort of the, now underneath market multiples for NVIDIA. I just can't believe that we're just in this area right here. I mean, I don't know if this is like a push and pull where people think AI is in the 7th or 8th inning and some think it's in the 1st or 2nd inning and just can't figure it out. But I mean, how long is this game? I mean, we started in July at this level and we're actually below where we were in the summertime right now. And it's not like the market is actually ripping and roaring right now. The market can't figure itself out either. So it's not a surprise to me that NVIDIA is down here, but bouncing off this 200 period moving average would make sense to me. We always talk about trying to buy companies that are of value and that we like and can see the sort of the bull case or bear case if you're looking to go short. This is a time right now. I mean, 178 needs to decide. I think I'd be fine with it dropping into 165 there, and maybe it's time just to let it see if that does happen. But I said this yesterday or a couple days ago that I think NVIDIA is worth a buy even right here, right now. So I'm going to be putting some more money to work, I think, at these levels. And I keep saying I think, like I'm not doing it yet. So I don't know what the trigger is going to be. It's just every day we come in here and, you know, the Nasdaq's down 1.5%, then it rallies, and then it's down another percent, and then it's up 1% and comes back in. So I think as the Nasdaq moves, so will NVIDIA, but I really like the space, and I don't think there's anything wrong with the semiconductors as a whole. I mean, if you look at it, they've had their ebbs and flows, obviously, but if you look at the SMH right now, let's get going. We obviously had the highs there. We had Broadcom miss, well, not miss, but come down on their earnings as well. But this is the SMH. So if you like the whole space, I mean, this is still relatively nowhere near, really, the 200-period moving average. So maybe it's just an NVIDIA individual story. I mean, we've already seen what AMD chart looks like. So if you're sort of like the semis and you think that this is a beginning of a new cycle potentially with all this CapEx still coming through, and you know we talked about inferencing and the TPUs for Google and all of that. Like SMH is like you're all wrapped up in one. I'll have to go over and see the exact weightings of the semiconductor here, VanEck Semiconductor Holdings. But if you're nervous about NVIDIA as a whole, just pick up some SMH, man. I think the story is intact, and it's a space that I'd like to be long and currently am long. So. Yeah, go SMH and go NVIDIA at some of these levels. So it's 8:55. I just want to show you, I did go back over to Toronto, and you can see here, so we've sort of settled out a little bit right now. That's the volume there, 2.6 million by 2.6 million. Which one is that one?
This is
Royal Bank, yeah. So
go to Royal.
If you just go to Royal Bank, you'll see even more. Yeah, okay, so this is what it's all about, 218. So I don't know why it's at 218 when yesterday's closing price was 220. So we'll have to wait to see, but this is what it looks like in Toronto. Just a lot of volume, and see, you can't have a buyer and a seller at this price. So they're going to match and pair somewhere probably in and around here. But very interesting to see what all these banks look like. We can take a look at what Shopify looks like as well. Shopify doesn't have it. Yeah, it looks like the banks right there. This is what it looks like in Toronto. So it's going to be a busy one right off the open.
On ARM, HSBC with a very, very positive note on ARM, talking about their transition essentially from smartphone dependent to potentially data center mega player here for infrastructure. So not a lot of volume behind this so far this morning, but one of few that I've pulled up here that look this positive in the pre-market.
Yeah, interesting look here, Brendo. Upgrading to a buy from reduce. That's a big one there. That's a double upgrade. A price target, not small either, increase from 90 to 205. That represents about a 60% upside from yesterday's close. They're shifting, according to the report here by HSBC, from being a core AI server CPU, and the brokerage expects them to begin shipping these industry CPUs by about 20%. In 26, and then an increase in 21% in 27. They say the server CPU royalties could be as big as the company's current top line by 2030. Quote, we believe ARM's server CPU royalty revenue could grow at a CAGR of 76% from 2026 to 2031. Just to give you an idea here about the average analyst rating, 40 analysts have it as a buy, with the median price target about $150.
Yeah, really, really detailed. If anybody wants to look that up, worth a read. You got to go to a daily chart. This level right now coming into play, 135, 136. That last pivot high, guys, for ARM actually looks pretty good here this morning.
Yeah, it does. And when we did the upgrade downgrades, I think it's one of the ones that stood out for sure. And look, one of their strengths, of course, being the power and efficiency of their chips is an important factor, because that's the kind of technology they can extrapolate out is going to be important for them to work. But like we were saying before, I just don't necessarily know that it's very light volume. That's A, because upgrading and downgrades, it's not like on earnings where you'd be trading a heck of a lot. So you have A, you got light volume on it. B, it's chilling at 135 underneath the major moving average here, which would be the 200 period, and it's a Friday, and it's a witching day. So pushing through that, because it's a breakout setup, So you'd have to really like that breakout to go for you today for that to be the trade. And I don't know that on a Friday, on a witching day, where usually my first thought is do a little bit less right away at 9:30 because it tends to be a little bit crazy choppy. This would be one I would want to stay away from for the first half an hour or maybe until next week from. But we already went over liking that one on a dip and rip. And just because a couple of people in the chat have asked, if you're just jumping in now and you haven't looked at what's going on, you probably see that the market's not doing much of anything in terms of percent moves. But SMCI, there's a super chat about this, about SMCI. If there is one, yeah, Alfred even is saying the thoughts on SMCI, huge move down. So, effectively, there was a probe in which several executives, including one of the co-founders, was caught engaging in the smuggling, I don't know, conspiracy is probably the wrong word, probably is a better word for it, to get NVIDIA chips into China. So it did not specifically name SMCI. However, some of the deals, some of what was happening was through some other third parties that did contribute some decent amounts of revenue. I think that one of them was like 2.5 billion in revenue over the last year. But it doesn't name SMCI particularly. SMCI is down 25%. Part of it's going to be, okay, well, is there anything else under the hood here that could possibly threaten future revenues? B, they have been with many issues over the last little bit, and you get to the point where you don't get the benefit of the doubt when you've got accounting issues and short seller reports, and anything and everything has seemed to have gone wrong for them. In this particular case, it's just like, they're going to get hit. They're going to get hit harder than the average company for this story, period. I don't think if we saw this same headline for Dell, you'd be down 26%. But SMCI is not Dell. Dell has not had these types of headlines for the last couple of years and has not been that beaten up. So that's why they're down 25 points. It's in our watch list. It's in the note. And I'm sure it's going to be a mover today. It's going to open up SSR, no questions asked. It looks like it respected VWAP there. Went right to VWAP and turned. That could be VWAP's going to be the level to watch today, I think, on SMCI. Because I think if it can get back above VWAP, there might be a little something there to get some pep in its step.
Yeah, that's right. Funny, someone in the chat there, what's up to Tross, says, dude, you're getting a Dell. I remember that commercial.
Oh, yeah.
I think there could be a bounce back. Just we've seen like SSR bounces in the past. And I'm just going to do what I always do, just a playbook here. If you break that low, then you want to smash that short. But the problem is you're not going to be able to hit the bid because it's already down 25%. So it's already SSR. The minute this market opens up, it'll be SSR. So if we can get a short through 22.30, I think that's going to be probably the best trade. But what could also happen is, let's just say we test that level and it doesn't smash, then basically just wait for the hold and then boom, it should take off because people will realize that, they can't hit the bid. So therefore they'll start to cover. If you were short SMCI, because you had a little bit of a breakdown happening right here, this is probably a good cover now. Down 25% kind of out of nowhere. I could see some traders coming in and covering. So I actually think the SMCI more likely trade is not a break of 22.50. It's actually a break long of 23.50. So I think that would be something to look out for. We will wait for the market on open imbalances at 925. This is a Nasdaq name, of course. We've got to wait for 925. And, some of these have been paired off quite violently already as they're getting more and more, cut in half, lower than that. If you go over to paired value, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So there was almost 4 million shares there on Bank of America, but that's already been accounted for. So there was a big seller, let's just say, of 3.7 million shares, and that's now been paired off, just leaving only a sell of 133. So all of these sort of have been paired off right now. You can see like 1.5, 1.2 is gone. And so that's how it looks like. So when we sort it by size, you're going to see what's left over. So right now Uber's a buy, but people have already come in and taken care of some of that. So as this gets closer and closer to 9:30, it looks like we'll get more and more action over here on these names. I really like Uber. Again, Uber is like one of those 5 stocks or so that I like. Marvell, Uber, Google, and NVIDIA. I know they're all tech names. And I also like J&J if we can pick something up on a dip here. So going back into something a little more dividend and more comfortable maybe for those of you that do not want the volatility, J&J. And then I don't know what's going on with Eli Lilly, but this is another name that's really dropped off through that 960. We talked about that earlier this week, is that if you dropped through here, it was going to be a little bit of a problem. And then, the very next day, we dropped through, and there you go, into 915, 916. We'll wait to see if there's a bid here somewhere around 900 for Eli Lilly. So, yeah, man, exciting times. There's going to be lots of trade today. Oil moving around as well, gold, silver, Bitcoin bouncing around 70. Should be some exciting stuff. Our watch list is now out. So is Sharif's note. Let's go back over the desk and start our rundown.
Take a look. Okay. All right, 658 Katina, man. That's where we closed out yesterday on the SPY. We are below that again, 656.5. We're down about 0.25%. But I want to bring your attention to a shelf that's starting to form here. Remember we were talking about 672, guys, as that shelf? That's that thick line there on your screen. Well, we've since given that up and then some. Now we're actually looking at a 662.5 shelf here that we defended back on the 9th. We defended back on the 16th. And then now, over the last few days, we've been using that 662.5 as resistance. So that's what we're going to say resistance number one, Brendo. If we start selling off, which I have a feeling we will, we're going to look to the overnight low at around 653 as support.
All right. If you are looking for a free resource, one is below in the description right now. Second link down below will get you to the sign-up page for the watch list. Has everything on it every single morning that you need to get your day started. Then you come join us at 8 o'clock. We get you ready for the open. Top of the list this morning, FedEx. More so from an economic bellwether type scenario. Very interesting report. Still all kinds of demand. If you haven't read through it yet, crazy beat and a raise, which in this world is rare. It seems even in the last earnings season.
Exactly. This is fantastic. You've seen Amazon try to rely less on third-party shippers. You've seen as well, gas prices increase, which is obviously a fixed cost for them. But this is a fantastic report with Q3 EPS coming in at $5.25. That's $1.10 beat versus what the street was looking for. They were looking for $4.15 on revenue of $24 billion. That's a $500 million beat. The street was looking for $23.5 billion. Results also improved year over year. So last year they were $4.51 EPS on $22.5 billion of revenue. And the upside surprise, driven primarily by what the company is saying is strong U.S. domestic shipping volumes, as well as improved pricing dynamics. They also raised full year guide, as you mentioned. EPS guide now for the full year, $19.30 to $2.10. The previous guide was $17.80 to $19. That's a meaningful upward revision. This reinforces kind of the confidence that the peak season strength pricing will continue and persist into 26. They're also saying U.S. volumes remain strong, supported by a resilient consumer demand. We'll have to see how long that lasts for, but there are some global demand indicators as well that are stabilizing. However, freight segment is not really picking up as it should be. And there's also the rising geopolitical tensions with $100 oil. And last but not least, that T word, again, tariffs remain in focus. They're one of the companies suing to get their money back, Brendo.
Coming back in here right now, but if you zoom out a little bit, we're at some pretty interesting levels here for FedEx.
Yeah, look, you guys nailed it. It's a fantastic report, and it doesn't just bode well. I know it's a bellwether, but it also bodes well for the fact that they've been, sort of doing a very good job of disrupting and not getting disrupted by getting more efficient. And so you're going to see the obvious only problem here is, well, Michael Noss was like, you like breakout trades. It doesn't look like we're getting one today because it went right into the highs, turn around, and it's a fantastic move. Like, you can't do any better than this. 50 period, 350, right into 390, and we're in a pretty decent pullback off of those highs. Like, you're actually seeing it fall back a little bit here. And it's a tricky one because even if you like this report, if you were going to trade this, where do you think the gap fills to? That's a hard one to watch. Like, you'd have to almost let it do some kind of a trend break or regain the volume weighted average price. I think this will be far more interesting for when it does give you the breakout. Like, when we get the close and we've taken out this, 392, 393 top, whatever that is exactly. And when you get through there, that'll be a lot more interesting. Until then, unfortunately, the follow through, it doesn't look like it's there. And I don't want to play the guessing game. in this name as to where it's going to turn around. There's enough moving today that I know it's the biggest earnings name out there. There's enough moving today. I think we can wait for this one to break out. Great stock, great story. If he comes back to, if this report brings it back to the 50-period moving average, then okay, yeah, buy that. That's a different story. I just don't think we see that today.
Yeah, I was going to say, what a story of two different names here, because UPS going the other way. So I was going to say, like, this is right at the 200-period moving average. Obviously, if you're going to look at FedEx, up 8-9%, probably won't be traded or anything today. But we talked about FedEx for a while. That looked like it was starting to go, and it was sort of that halo thing where if it's heavy assets, low something, obsolescence. So if you can, hold it in your hand, it's probably a good thing. And with AI sort of starting to affect, like we said there, driver locations and just logistics and, getting everything, like even on Amazon right now with my kid, which by the way, built the successful PC. He sent me a note last night at midnight that he was playing one of the games that he couldn't play before. So he put in a new 3060 Ti there, and we got a motherboard and all that kind of stuff. So that was really cool. But anyways, what I was getting at is you could see, like, even on Amazon, it shows you like where they are in the delivery. So like he was waiting for a part to come in, and it's like, okay, the stop, it's now 10 stops away, or it'll be less than 5 minutes away, and boom, it arrived immediately. So I think that like it's helping customers, it's helping obviously the users, and then the businesses as well track and monitor and just get more efficient. So I think UPS, we'll have to wait to see what their issues are, but down here at the 200-period moving average, I think you could do worse picking up a name like this, a dividend payer. Not really sure why UPS is so much worse than FedEx right here, but definitely something to look into if you're interested in the space. I think it's a very interesting one, and one that probably could get bought up there with I think it's a 4% dividend or so. So UPS, maybe a look somewhere else. FedEx good levels and off to the races, but UPS maybe has some catch up to do.
Situation. Sorry. He mentioned UPS. I had to rant.
Sharif's angry about UPS. Amazon back to the upside right now. I mean, we came off pretty hard early on this morning, back to these levels from yesterday. You're going to be buying the Amazon. I mean, if they call it a Fire Phone again, like the first time around, I don't know.
They got to play something off Alexa. I mean, Alexa's, I don't think, a bad product. I don't have one. I've used it. They're not bad. Yeah, they're trying to incorporate that. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get you an AI product in your hand that they can launch all their new AI products on. That's what they're trying to do since the failed Fire Phone launch in 24 was overseen by, you may know this guy, Jeff Bezos. Was scrapped within a year due to weak adoption. The new phone, though, is internally called the Transformer, kind of maybe turning a new page here. It's being built within Amazon's devices and services division. It's positioned as a personalization hub, and it's going to be centered around Alexa, integrating tightly within the Amazon ecosystem, so to speak. It's expected to sync with Alexa and other smart home infrastructures. It can function as a gateway to other Amazon services, shopping, content, AI, the likes. It's also a push towards that AI-driven personalization and ecosystem lock-in. Just to give you some details, no confirmed launch time, no confirmed price or expected revenue generation, nor do we know the financial commitment that they're dedicating to this project.
It's also obviously going to be an Android device, which is questionable, I think, to enter that market at this point. But obviously not going to move the stock today, guys, but interesting story.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's okay. So they're going to come out and they're going to compete with like Pixel and Samsung. It's just, there's enough competition out there. I mean, they made an acquisition. You can find on the Sharif's note there that they also made an acquisition in robotics as well to help be more efficient in that last mile delivery. And I think the good thing for Amazon, at least here, is you're finding a very good wall of support, which is starting to form, and it's off the higher lows. You start with the daily chart and zoom it back in. But I think that 205 does look a little bit spicy if it were to get down there. There's just, like, I feel like there's just other names. Like, when you're down here, you've got to be breaking out off of those lows. Like, show me that you can break out and then go fill in that gap a little bit here. But I do like Amazon. I just can't get too jazzed up to trade, particularly that headline. I think when you look at the chips, I like that AMD chart out there. We've already talked, William will probably talk about, we're going to talk about energy again there, and obviously SMCI is going to end up being in play for everybody out there. Yeah, I don't know if I love that catalyst. I think it's not a bad move. but it didn't necessarily work out too well for them before. So I can't get jazzed up about the phone, no matter how much we talk about it.
No, phone's not a good margin. I mean, they're not gonna make any money on that, just getting them into this space. And I mean, we already know everyone's buying Apple phones anyways. We sort of talked about if I'm gonna buy a company because of the phone, it would be Apple, it wouldn't be Amazon. I like Amazon for AWS. And we've talked about, you know, this little spend here that they unleashed 200 billion CapEx, I believe, or something crazy like that for Amazon. And I think it's well-deserved. I mean, I just talked about the shipping and how things have just improved so much there. And I gotten, you know what, from my wife because I ordered shaving cream from Amazon, and we have all these points apparently from Shoppers Drug Mart here in Canada. So she's like, what are you doing? But that's just, it's a habit now, right? You go over to Amazon for everything. And I was even talking about building that PC, you know, like we needed to get a Wi-Fi PCI card, and so a PCIe card. So we got that off Amazon. It's easy to do, right? I mean, we go into computer stores as well to buy parts, but everything's on Amazon. So the retail side, I think, is good. I'm not sure they need to get into the phone business. And I wasn't too focused there on the exact story, but at the end of the day, I don't want them to get off track with what they're doing. So I don't really, I'm not interested in that too much. Today's going to be an interesting day for me because I don't know if we want to buy or sell, you know, right off the open. I don't have like an instant feel of risk on or risk off today. I just don't like Amazon until we get back into the 200 marker. So you're kind of in the middle here, right? We had that dip down on earnings. The low was 197. The high was 220. Wow. That was a nice move back up. And now we've just been coming back in, right? So it looks like we're trying to go lower again. So I would say Amazon's proper home is somewhere around 200. We could maybe even see that today or Monday. And then I think you know, you look to buy it, and we don't make fun of, but we talk about NVIDIA sort of going sideways since June. I mean, this is June right here on Amazon. So although it didn't go sideways, it had its peaks and valleys. But at the end of the day, we all returned to the same home, and that is where we were last summer. So I don't know what you were doing last summer, but right into there, $200 break might be a problem.
I know what you did last
yeah, I know. That's I know what Amazon did last summer, the same thing it's doing now. So we'll have to wait to see there. I'm not excited about this name today. Not as much volume and not really a super strong catalyst for me to give me an opinion one way or the others. Metals, however, we talked about gold being at that 18-year low as far as the monthly moves are concerned there. Yeah, over a 10% pullback happening this month. So, and the month, Brennan and Sharif, it's not even over yet. I mean, we still have a couple more days at least. I think it's 7 more trading days before the end of the month. So lots to happen here in the metal game. Let's go get the big story from the guys at the desk.
Yeah, we're rolling back over right now on silver anyways. Gold a little bit less volatile at this point, but 64.40, I guess, was a little bit of a level there in the pre-market so far this morning. No longer, starting to head back southbound here.
And you're seeing more of a divergence lately between gold and silver. I don't say they were running in tandem, but the metals were kind of running as a group. And now you're seeing silver down 1.5, gold almost up 0.5. Both metals are on track for losing weeks, though. Rising oil prices and geopolitical uncertainty initially supported kind of that safe haven demand, but they are now creating cross-asset instability. And you can feel like the market's struggling to price whether the situation is going to lead to inflationary pressure or growth slowdown. And that makes a difference, of course, for the price of these metals. Central banks, though, do remain the key long-term driver, especially since the Russia asset freeze kind of reshaped some strategies there. Institutional demand laid the foundation for the bull run. Then, of course, retail and hedge funds amplified the move later. Current pullback, though, may be clearing weak hands, according to some analysts, before a potential next leg higher. We'll have to wait and see. But experts, Brendo, emphasize gold is driven by long-term macros, and this is just short-term noise.
Two things that are not directly related, but interesting couple of headlines here I was just reading. First off, CBS News laying off 6% of their entire staff.
Who?
CBS News.
CBS.
6% of their entire staff. Also from CNBC, entry-level job postings down 35%.
Are you
since
surprised?
The beginning of the year?
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. You're seeing, okay, I just want to digress for a second. There was this like claw, or what are they calling it now? Open claw, sorry, so I got it right. This open claw conference in China yesterday. They're bringing senior citizens, Brendo, with their laptop in hand, and they're installing open claw on there. So if seniors are getting a personal assistant, I just wonder what these companies are doing.
Yeah, crazy times. Thoughts here, guys. Metals not looking good here so far.
Well, it felt like this was going to be a breakout on silver because you look at the support, right? Like it's obvious about 64.5 here on SLV. I know we should always say SLV. On SLV at 64.5, and then you have on huge volume the wipeout bottom yesterday, and now I can zoom in and give you an idea. There's our wipeout bottom. You had this break, and then you had a gap fill that was set out there, and now we're a couple of points beneath that. So maybe it does still happen, but there's going to have to be a sentiment change. So it didn't really come into this. When I see that kind of a volume bottom, my first thought is never short. That's just not what I would look at when I see it's at a support level on the daily chart, and when you get that kind of volume reversal, I'm thinking a continuation. So we would have to do a trend break or break above 66, or we have to wait on silver there. I'm more interested in Bitcoin today because, again, it's held a 70,000 level for now. So the same level that was the short off of the open, which is about that just underneath the 70,000, which was 39.75, that ended up being support in the afternoon, ends up being support now. So that can get held, then there's already a long structure for Bitcoin. Of course, if it loses it, I'm not stubborn about it. You got to look for the other direction if that happens.
Yeah, I mean, right now silver is going to the downside, and I was looking at silver right at this price, 64.50. So we have Baker Hughes rig count at 1 p.m., so there's not much going on there. But the trade idea there for me was silver, 64 long. We had a strong session yesterday, stair-stepping higher, watch for dip buyers and continuation. So that was right here. It's on the note today. So if I go over to silver right now, it's actually at 64.50 right now. And I just, when we write the note, it's at 65 and change. I thought right into there's 64.50 trying to hold yesterday. That's 64.25. So it looks like we do hold it. So I think silver will be on my mind for a couple minutes here today. And then just looking at 64.50, yesterday sort of cluttered area, thinking about trying to hold that. So if we draw like a little line, both on the, the 1 minute and the 5 minute, this is a sort of a base there. And, this is what I meant by stepping, like, upside, back in, hit the stair, go up the next stair, back in, up the next, back, and it just kept on going all the way into the close, where we finish at the highs. So, but this is what silver did early. So let's not think that it can't go to the downside. But anyways, I'm looking at 64.50 right there as we have some fun and go back and forth about the card that I bought there. I want to say what's up to Papacito. Bro apparently he traded with me yesterday and graduated on 3 accounts. So I'm going to say awesome and congratulations and oh my God on that one, and saying that we should buy bigger graphics cards. Maybe we will do that at some point, but yeah, we got a good deal there. We got it off Marketplace. It was a good one there, but congratulations, Papacito, man. 3 funded accounts yesterday. I mean, there you go. So that's cheers to you. Glad you were watching the show, obviously, and hopefully you can, if they're funded already, put some of those funds to work today, and we'll see if we can make some more good trading decisions at some point. But there it goes right there. So the writing's on the wall, man. There's 3 funded past accounts yesterday alone. So I was probably on that USO trade, I would assume, near the end of the day. So congratulations on that one, Papacito. And I'll let you know how the card works this weekend.
Let's go on to SMCI, almost back to lows right now. We're pushing back to 2250 as we speak. On this crazy story, again, if you missed it, came out after the close last night. Stock got absolutely smoked in the aftermarket on this. Doing bad things with NVIDIA chips, trying to sell them under the table into China, probably not going to end well.
No, it's not. And I don't really want to point the finger at the company, but this is yet another.
Steve, I mean, the guy's running the company.
Exactly.
It's the company.
And this guy here that apparently is involved has a lot of shares. So let's get to the facts here. U.S. prosecutors charge associates linked to Supermicro Computer with illegally diverting NVIDIA-powered servers to China. The alleged violations, of course, contravene the Export Control Reform Act. So here's the deal. Defendants allegedly used Southeast Asian intermediary companies to disguise fake shipments. They also used fake documentations, and dummy servers apparently were used to mislead compliance teams and regulators. Real servers, though, apparently those were rerouted to China with inspections staged to appear compliant. The scheme generated about $2.5 billion in sales in 24, including about $5 $510 million in a short 2025 window before this whole thing stopped. It shows massive demand, though, of course, for AI compute in China. The key defendants, though, Brendo, you got the co-founder of the company, Wally Liao. He owns $464 million in SMCI stocks. It also includes a sales manager and a contractor linked to SMCI operations. The company's trying to do damage control here, of course, and they stated, look, these people, they're affiliated with the company, yes, but SMCI itself is not a defendant, and they placed the employees involved, and they cut ties with the contractor. Doing their best here.
That's so crazy. Not the first time that SMCI has been in a scandal. Not their first rodeo. $20, I guess. You got to go way, way back. 2024 coming into play here, $20 level potentially here, guys.
Slight correction there, Sharif.
Yeah, Sharif.
He would own $350 million worth of stock because the sucker's down to over 25% today. No. So I guess that idiot got kicked in the junk twice. Was it Liam or whatever it is?
Yeah, who knows?
Whatever. If he's that rich, ain't nothing happening to this dude. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's just, we're just saying, if you're the CEO of this company, you've got to be like, oh, God, like this, again, something else. No, but in all serious, all jokes aside, you do have to consider, like, the company wasn't named in this suit. It's more bad press for them. There is the outside chance that there's more here, and that this other revenue could come under scrutiny, and if they don't open up China, possibly this could be some other effects. Until we know more, it's hard to say in either direction. I always play names that are this far down kind of the same way. Like, there's an SSR level at like 20, as Brennan mentioned. Like, if it gets to 19 or $20, like, that's a big time level if you zoom it out far enough. And then the other thing I want to see is, can it ever hold on to VWAP? Like, use VWAP as a bit of a guide. You whenever start rejecting there, that gives you a place to be able to fade. And if it breaks out over VWAP, there's like small squeeze potential here, just because it is down so much. But yeah, like, that's like, the funny thing is, like, what is actually going to happen to this dude? He'll still be, I mean, probably a billionaire or whatever the heck he is, and he's probably not going to go to jail or anything like that. It'll be a slap on the wrist, and the company's taking in the beat. The problem is SMCI does not get the benefit of the doubt for anything, and they probably never again will. So get used to it. If you're a shareholder of SMCI, then you need to understand that if there is a bad headline, you're going down twice as much as you would normally. That's just how it is for these guys. And on that regard, it's arrows up for Dell, because Dell's up 5%, and Dell's going to potentially break out in the next couple of days here. Oops, there you go. Triple top here on Dell. You know, there's a bear market, there's a bull market somewhere, as they always say.
Yeah, no, I already sort of said my case here for SMCI. It looks like it is breaking lower. We thought that, you know, a good trade would sort of be on the downside here of that break. It looks like it's trying to happen right now. It may not. I mean, you know, those imbalances are actually out. Let's just go double check those right now, and that might have been part of the move. Yeah, so NVIDIA's a buy, Apple's a buy. Those are starting to shoot up. Amazon right there, also with a buy. There's a shoot up there. NVIDIA with a buy, but coming back in. Apple. These all happen at 9:25, so we're a little bit late to this. And I don't see SMCI. Oh, there it is. SMCI with a buy, actually. So, yeah, not relating well to that imbalance. So, yeah, it looks like it wants to go lower. For me, if you can get short, great. I mean, VWAP's at 23, but I think a break of VWAP and then a break of that day's high shoots us up to $25. So, I actually like the long break of 23.50 on SMCI today. I think we can get that. Look, I mean, I don't want to buy the stock. I just think for a day trade, there to there makes a little bit of sense. I think we can get up to 25 where your 200 period moving average is. So I'm excited to try to look at that anyways today. I don't want to lose track of it. So we will keep our eye on it. And right now we're bouncing off of that 22.30 recent, or I guess morning low. So we'll wait to see if it hits that. Neil obviously looked at a longer time frame there. It looks like they're in big time trouble. I like Dell for the other side of it. But I think a break of 23.50 and we can try it. That exact top right there looks like 23.60. So that's going to be the break that you're looking for right into there on SMCI. It looks like we might get it right off the open, man. 23.60 break long into 25 might be worth the risk.
Right, real quick to wrap things up here. Oil back to highs, essentially, if you go out to a daily chart. Not currently, but we did tag new highs on XLE anyways. Again, more negative headlines coming out overnight. infrastructure being targeted over in the Middle East. So nothing has changed as far as that situation is concerned. There was a little bit of hope as it was first reported that some additional traffic is being allowed through the Strait of Hormuz. Whether or not that is going to continue remains to be seen. So some of the energy producers, guys, worth watching today.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like, I put Boyle in the note. It necessarily might not, I don't know that you get what happened yesterday. We had like multiple trend breaks. Like it broke this all-day trend, and then it broke that trend line in the afternoon, giving you a couple of good short opportunities. That's what I'm going to be looking for. Like, it's trend down, so if it shows me some kind of a obvious short setup, maybe it's like a resistance in the VWAP, that prior low, 1825 here on Boyle, and I would short that. And of course, this is like, this is like a leverage ETF, so it's going to move a little bit more. But I think that's the play. Or if I see it trend up, wait for the break of the trend. So I wouldn't just short any old price. It has to be like one of those obvious setups, resistance to support, and a trend break is what I'm going to be doing for Boyle.
Yeah, I was just saying, okay, we're going to open up right now. Let's watch out for SMCI. I do like USO today, but we'll be ears to the ground, see if we hear something about anything relating to oil and whatnot today, and the Strait and all of that jazz. So here we go, man. We are now open, and we're going to wait to see where this market goes today, and hopefully we get a good little look here. So there goes SMCI. Watch out for 2230 to break to the long side there on SMCI. Sorry, 2360 is what we're looking for, 2230 on the downside. It is now SSR, so you're not going to be able to hit the bid. You're going to have to get short over here, and you're going to start to see some offers start to stack up as they start to chase this thing down, as there's the most recent break right there right now. So not great, but not horrible either. SMCI right now. NVIDIA. I think you said RIVN there.
No,
to the downside.
Yeah, RIVN's something we should have looked at because
I don't know.
I thought news yesterday and probably worth watching to see where they are. But NVIDIA down 1% instantly at the open here. Does that mean we're getting a dip? Slight dip.
Oh, wow. Look at Amazon.
Nowhere near that.
Yeah, so some of these names are getting really hit hard right now. Amazon is down $3. Straight line. I mean, look, Amazon, I didn't hate the phone idea that much, but a nice downside move right there for sure. What I had on the board today for myself, and we didn't even get to go over the note too much, but I had Tesla short at 382. I can't make that up. It's on the sticky note right there, but it happened in the pre-market. There it is right here. Tesla short, 382. $5 in the money. SLV long, SoFi long, USO. So that's what we'll look at. I mean, Tesla, what a banger that was. So let's wait to see now. I don't know. I mean, that's gone. You can't do much about that now. SoFi. I wanted to look at SoFi. Shout out to MF Dane Generous there. You mentioned that in my morning note as well over there on Twitter. And you got to watch out for that level, right? This is the Muddy Waters low. That was 1660. There. So if we can get something at 1660, I think that's a good little level there for SoFi, and that's coming in right now.
I had that. Yeah, it was like there's a good double that double bottom, which makes sense.
Yep.
I'm trying to look into it. Of course, remember Adair is often not feeling well. Intel, there is no particular news story, but you just saw all the chip names going down.
The whole market,
a bunch of them, but in the market going down. Intel up 2% again. So Intel doing a bit of a blast off. Now yesterday it didn't make its top till 10:30. So if this thing is upward trending, I do not want, if it's not showing an obvious head and shoulder pattern, then I want no part of standing out in front of it. So AMD not really doing anything. We already went over.
I just, oops.
Shit. Oh yeah, I wanted to go to the IVN because that is heading to the downside and is breaking through 70,000 here on Bitcoin. We're literally at 70,000 on BTC. So if it does not hold on, then I want to look for a continuation short. Oh, we got a super chat here from Spengler. You just tuned in. Do we talk about oil and thoughts on UMAC or RCAT?
Go Sabres. Yeah, what's up, Sabres?
Well, we're not really Sabres fans.
The Buffalo Sabres have not made the playoffs, Neil, so for 14 years. So the fact that they're going to make it this year, I'm happy for their fans.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. One of my favorite players of all time is Pat LaFontaine.
Right, exactly.
So, it is what it is. We have not talked about RCAT or UMAC. To my knowledge, RCAT, I don't really see anything crazy happening on it.
I'm long NVIDIA, but I don't know if this is going to work.
Oh, I like the chart. Bounce off the 50 period here on RCAT. Looks like it did that yesterday. But you can only do this, and it's only good if you break out that next level. So that would need to break out that 15.3 if it wants to do something spicy.
I'm just long NVIDIA. I just wanted to let you know that because it's a new position. Thank you for those super chats. Oil is going to be interesting. We said ears of the ground. If this breaks the low, which looks like it might want to do 176.75, we're going to be out of this trade. It was a pretty dramatic move down. I put in the wrong offer again, so I got in and got out at the same price there, but now we're back in at 177.20. So fair enough, man. That's where we wanted it. And I thought it was making a move off. Oops, let me zoom in a little bit here. Thought it was making a move off of those lows right there. So that's why we executed. Okay, we get an out there at 40s or 39s. So that was decent. So we just executed it there. I put in the wrong stop order, and I wound up buying it a little bit higher than where we were initially. Yeah, just trying to use these as our local lows, and we'll see if it wants to hold. I mean, this day is still obviously very early, but look at the Nasdaq bleeding in right now. I mean, if we ever get a reversal, I think NVIDIA go boom in the night. That's for sure. All right, SoFi as well. I got to actually reset my scanner. It doesn't look like it's moving unless nothing's happening, which I don't think is right. SoFi does make that move in. And what do we write down for SoFi again? 16.75. The low of the day, 16.75. It's only 5 cents away right now. So I'm just only saying these levels because a lot of key things are hitting right now. And it's just because we are getting a dramatic move down in the Nasdaq. I mean, I don't want to act like it's that dramatic. It's just over 100 points. It's not that bad at all. But we'll wait to see if there is a bounce back on what is a triple witching day and a lot of volume going through on the markets as well right away, right? Big prints early. Let me see what
I'm like waiting for this, the witching malaise to set off.
Yeah.
Set off. To
wear off.
A little bit. Wear off is the word I'm looking for. Like AMD didn't get, I thought AMD was a little bit stronger. It didn't get anywhere near the level I would have liked, which would have been right in about here, like 2.5, maybe in the 200 level. And then Intel, still don't know what's going on here. It is pulling back. So the day that I don't blindly short the first pullback is the day that it pulls back, because that's, of course, how it goes. SMCI took out the low, is now at $22. So there will be no test of VWAP yet. That's what I want to wait for. Boyle doing nothing. It is going to be it's going to be SoFi or IBIT first for me. Because you got that nice double bottom. I think it's kind of, there's a rule I like about any kind of short seller report. If you hold the low, if the first day low after a short seller report gets held, then I want to look long off that level after the fact. Because it kind of tells you that the market has tried not to hate it that much, is the best way to think about it. It's not that they don't hate it, it's just they don't hate it enough to make a fresh low on the next day, then I want to look for the long.
Yeah, I'm trying not to get out of anything really here on NVIDIA as we just, it just spiked again into that level. I almost put an offer there, but I'm going to wait for 50s, see if we can get, that high again so I don't just, put a whole bunch of marks on here. But that's now twice that we've come up, or 3 times basically, that we've come up to 40 and failed. We are still holding VWAP here, but so is the market holding these lows. So a little nervous that on this little bit of a move back higher, NVIDIA is still having a problem with that 177.20 area. I don't want to leave it. If we get stopped out of it, I think we can still go back to it. But look at the recovery that we see on Amazon. This is what I'm waiting for my guy over there at NVDA. It just did the same thing. It stopped again at 40s. So if we can get a pop through, man, I'm sitting at 45 to get a little bit out. But look at Amazon's on that recovery. So that's a huge move back to the upside. There it is. We get it. We waited and we got it this time. Yeah. So we get that 45 there a little bit. So just a couple more. See, wow. Good. I mean, we're only getting out 10% each time, actually a little bit more that time, 15%, but still have 75% of this trade, and our next offer is not until 178.80, so hopefully that can come in. IBIT looks like it's making a move lower right now as well. Bouncing. It's a nice bounce from the market, so, oh, you're in IBIT, okay, good. So
it just bounced off 70,000.
Yeah, that looks like a decent opportunity.
Here's the thing, I'll show you.
What about SMCI?
It's at 72, but basically bottoming tail candle and then broke back out for a reversal candle as it was retaking the 70,000 level. It would look a lot cooler if I would show you that turn at the 70,000 in the chart, but we don't trade direct Bitcoin because it's just easier to look at the ETF. But I do want to respect the volume weighted average price. Scalp it into the volume weighted average price. As usual, it's a reversal trade, so my stop goes under there. SoFi, not as much of a rebound. It puts in a similar, there's your bottoming tail candle and there's your hold of support. It's not doing as much with it here with SoFi. Remember, the market is downside. So we are going against the grain with this trade. And absolutely nothing happening in Boyle for me. Boyle, it'll move. Don't get me wrong, Boyle's gonna move. It's literally not moving now. Sometimes you just got to wait it out. We've seen this with energy names. We've seen this with like silver and gold. Sometimes off the open, they don't do as much as you would expect, and later in the day, they are good. But there are individual energy names which are flying around. Like Oxy is going ham. Well, okay, it's up 2%. Maybe ham is too much, but it is going wild to the upside, despite the fact that you're not really seeing anything happening in the energy market today, or early.
We took a little small bid there on NVIDIA at O's. We got O2s there. It does go up to 20s on that take, but I'm still going to wait for another take up here. Looks like we're starting to fall back down. Look at the market. Maybe we need to go short. Let me see what the Qs look like here. Yeah, we did hear CBS News. I don't know what the symbol for CBS, oh, PSKY, Paramount, okay. That's probably a good symbol there. Look at the Nasdaq right here. I mean, even on your 1 minute chart, you know, you are looking like yesterday's level is going to come into play right here, right now. I mean, this is a breaking spot. I know I'm long NVIDIA, but this is why we're not going to be holding it for very long. If we do break, there is a lower take coming, man, 587 on the Qs. So, you know, to be able to hold out for what could be a bounce now, I could see it happening off of some of yesterday's levels there, but it does look like we are trying to push a little lower now in the market. Let me see what USO is doing. Okay, stair stepping up, that's great. Like if you're looking long on USO, this is kind of what we like to see. We saw this sort of yesterday in silver, pullbacks into VWAP or into the 200 period moving average, probably buys right now for USO. The interesting thing about USO, of course, is that it's going to be very news-based. So we got to take off a little bit of that expectation. If anything, silver right now is holding. We wrote down 64.50, so it is holding 64.50 for now, but we're underneath VWAP. I would rather that not be the case, but you know, can't choose what happens. So I think a break right now of this 50 period probably gets us going half decently. And there it is, man. We'll spend a little bit of money there. So dip buy at O's, out at 30s, kind of the trading that I want to do a little bit more of. I sat down yesterday and was thinking like just too many outs all the time. We don't need to have all of them out. So we'll put another one at 50 as I just say that, and then we can wait for our next order to come up through 80s. But let's take it, there it is. Let's take advantage of this. Boom, that's a good one, man. Let's see now if we can have these. And we're almost at 1 day goal already. So we talk about, the reason why I say that is I believe, you know, the most successful day traders are the part-time ones. So, you know, get in there, make your money, and just follow your rules, right? I mean, that's the most important thing here for trading. And if you can have rules, that's what you want. And that's all you're trying to develop is figure out a strategy that works for you, that is in your personality, and that match with whatever goals you have. So there it goes, man. There goes NVIDIA up through 60s and 70s, man. We talked about this. We put on some more shares, man. We got double reloads down there. Let's see if we can get it. I'm waiting for 177.80, man. You got to give me that 25 period. I'm actually going to zoom that down a little bit, 177.70 or so, because we're right here right now, and that 50 period is coming down. So let's just put an offer there at 68 and grab that. Whoa, we also grabbed the 80. I didn't cancel that in time. Okay, here we go, man. There it is. There's your first daily goal, Matt, and maybe you got some more funded accounts happening today, because there it is, man. Nice move up there for NVIDIA. It's 70 cents, and we still got on about 70% of the trade.
Yeah, it's starting to get a nice little bounce here. And 123 in the chat, I saw you. It is witching today. That does mean that options expirations, triple witching, there's no more quad witching, and it's also index rebalancing at the end of the day. We can go into that a little bit more. There are some big names that are going to be out there. We got to take advantage there of a couple of bounces. Got to reload in IBIT, and we got that VWAP on SoFi. So now the thing for SoFi is if it can hold above the volume-weighted average price, got to look for places potentially to add in this move because it's held on to that double bottom that we liked. But the next stop would be if it gets to the pre-market high, respect it. Also because that pre-market high is $17. And on an options expiration day, if it's a round number, then I am taking shares out in front of it if I'm in position, period. That's pretty much always going to be the case. And I put in the chat, I hate you, Intel. Today's the day that Intel does a full reversal off that first crazy candle. I didn't see a story, but look at how it's snapping back. If it doesn't close under, let me zoom in. If it doesn't close this under VWAP, I won't consider this one to the south side. But for now, we're still only 10, 15 minutes in. For IBIT, every time we bounce off 70,000, I want to look to play the bounce as long as it doesn't make the fresh low. Play it into VWAP, take your profit, because we are still in the first 15-minute candle. So do your scalping, and if we can hold the trend, then work on the second half after. And well, we didn't really talk too much about SMCI as I just typed SoFi again.
Oh yeah, I meant to look at SMCI.
Okay, that's actually a pretty standard SSR bounce. Dang it, Boomhauer. Like, you see how it trended down?
Did it break the high of the day yet?
But look what it did at the low. It literally wicked the low and didn't break, like right here. So wicked the low and then got a little breakout back through 22, and it's right to the volume weighted average price. That's a pretty standard, like, trend reversal style trade. Like, remember, the company technically didn't do anything wrong here. But it's SMCI, so, you know.
Yeah. Well, the company did do something wrong. I mean, they're led by their leaders. So,
yeah, it's true. Like, the officers.
Yeah. No, I mean, we can't say we love Jensen. You know, I mean, it's just like, yeah, that's who's involved. It is what it is right there. And we go diamond hands again, and we get our 95s. That's a bull. Okay, that's good enough. But there it is right there. We get 178 and changes. I hit the wrong key on our stream deck. But there it is, man. We get did we get 178 flat? Yes, we did. We got 178 on Nasdaq gateway. So good little gateway hit there as it comes right back up and right into the lows of the pre-market, right? So, you know, cashing out now. We are now out of exactly half. So we go from the lows of the day into the 200 period, into the 50 period, into the 20. Like, that's what we're talking about. So we're going to just get out of half there. Reload, yeah, maybe. Well, I think it's not a horrible reload if it does come all the way back in, but let's just be very, very disciplined with what we're looking at right now. Like I said, man, we did look at silver earlier. I wrote down 64.50, and shout out to Erie Pages, Hamster, and everybody that's following as well. Like, we should have taken that. You know, we didn't, so my bad on there. We also wrote down SoFi 1675. I know Neil's in that one. We should have had that as well. We don't, like, as if we write down 1675 right there, right? And so again, like, I'm just on NVIDIA, and we've made our daily goal, and it's getting higher and better as we speak. But this is why you want to give me a follow, I think, on Twitter. There's SLV 64.50, that's the low. There's SoFi 1675 area long, so you could have even got long like where Neil did there at 1680. That's a good trade. And then USO, we'll wait for that one, and then we'll see what's going on with Tesla today as well. But I don't know, it did tank. Very good, right off the open. So yeah, big move down for Tesla. Hasn't really gotten its footing yet. I mean,
under 380 sucks for them.
Maybe it did right there. Yeah, 376 is VWAP. So definitely a level to possibly look at right now. As here comes NVIDIA right back downside a little bit. Nasdaq upside, NVIDIA downside. So I missed the ball. I'm glad Neil has it, but I should have had SoFi, and I should probably have silver, but I feel like I could get silver again. So we'll wait to see what's going on there right now. Trump talking all about right now. So
okay.
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about, but
yeah, I didn't hear it clearly enough. But Trump making
something.
Comments about Iran there. But SoFi did get to that 17. So remember, it's a witching day. You get to a round number that's a resistance. It's a scalp. So we were able to get that reversal candle. I'm in and out. I'll look for the next trade. It could be VWAP. It could just be a retest of the low for a double bottom. It could end up being a breakout trade. Can't know what'll happen next. My thoughts are similar, like the same kind of dip buy, but played into the resistance, which we did not get filled. I don't want this closing under VWAP. If it closed under VWAP, I might get out and then wait for that next opportunity and just play the first two scalps and look for the next trade. For those that are asking what witching day is, it's basically just it's multiple options expirations, like single stock futures, and it happens on the third Friday of every single month. So you do get a lot of extra volatility on not just opening prints, but the opening, call it like 10, 15 minutes of the day. And that's why when you look at these these big strike prices, you will have some trouble trading away from them. You can gravity towards them, but then you have some trouble breaking away. SMCI, which is I guess the story of the day at this point, not many stocks going to be down 25%, is holding VWAP. Yeah, they're down 25%, but from the open, the buyers have stepped in here. So good on anybody that tried to buy that open. Not me.
No, just hearing now that there's been nobody going through the Straits of Hormuz at all now. So apparently, potentially tankers going through this weekend. But right now, I just heard on the news source there that nothing happening right now in the Straits. So I wanted to look at oil. It's not doing anything, and I thought maybe it would. We did get a little bit of a tick down there on oil. That, if there's no tankers going through, that, oil should be going upside as, supply will outstretch demand. I mean, if they can't get enough supply to the people that need it, especially there in China, as we talked about how important that strait is. Not for U.S. oil. I mean, U.S. apparently has enough oil to worry about it for themselves. Okay, so NVIDIA, man, we did get a couple reloads down there. We said that we would do that. So we got reloaded right now on that. We'll take a piece out at 40s if we can get it. And if we can get it, we just got it. So double barrel loads down there again at VWAP. So let me take out one more piece now just because. And then we can see if we can get those 80s again to the top side of this market. So yeah, man, just a little bit of back and forth here with NVIDIA. I only have the one trade on, and it's 1 for 1. So that's nice so far there today. But what else we got on our mind? Okay, that was Tesla. We could check out here. If you guys do put in the chat, you put in $, whatever symbol you want. Oh yeah, SMCI. I was looking at 2360 break. We could talk about that if that does happen in just a couple minutes. There goes NVIDIA, man. 40 cents in the money there. Dell upside on. Let's go NVIDIA. Yeah. Dell on upside plays as well. Up 5% today. Silver down a little bit at 64.70. We are getting that possible reload spot. Intel was up 1.5%, so that's nice. PL. Oh, Planet Labs.
Planet Labs.
Yeah. That was on earnings. Right. 35% up on Planet Labs earnings.
Monster.
Codex might be one to look at there. CODX. 32% on a small cap name right there. Let me have a quick look.
That's a line.
Yeah, that's an Amex, isn't it? Oh, no, it's not. Okay, so this is habitual, you're saying?
I think so.
Over there. So let's have a quick little look there on Codex. I mean, that means it's done this before. What happened to Codex here for the last 2 months? I don't know if it was see you later or what happened there, but Codex just coming back to market a couple days ago, according to our charts anyways, and there it goes, 350, trying to get an upside play into $4, CODX. Actually pretty controlled right now, it looks like, for Codex. I mean, no halts, nothing going on here. Watch out, you are getting a possible reload now at 325 on that one. Just hearing that the United States are sending warships apparently into thousands of additional, this is not going to be good for those of you that are, there, but thousands more Marines apparently being sent right now. So, and warships being sent into the Middle East right now. That can't be good for anything. I would say that's probably spikes. Yep. Okay, yep. I think we need to go long on USO. I'm going to start that trade right now, long USO. I was thinking about it before when we sort of got that news there, and now we're hearing something else. So I'm going to try it. Not going to go too long on this because obviously I'm buying the highs, but we know what happens when oil trends. It trends. So let's see if that happens. This is the second massive deployment of Marines this week, and we'll just hear if anything's going on. Yeah, with that right there.
I didn't see that.
Now, yeah. So a little bit of a story there. Spiking oil. Look, I still want to get it. This is
I just jumped out of my.
The longs might not work.
Yeah, I punched out of the IBIT long, and I don't know if I'm going to reload on.
I'm in NVIDIA.
I just wanted to make sure I heard that story just right. If that's the sentiment change, like we're already look at SoFi. I was just in SoFi too, and SoFi came all the way back. And that's not a moment to maybe hop on the bid. Like if the longs worked early and you're able to get something, I don't think that's going to be necessarily the play. I'm going to look over it. Boyle barely even moved here. I can get Boyle at the low on that story.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it might be worth it. I'm going to try again here for USO. So if it does fall out, like NVIDIA, we got to fill underneath. Oh, here it goes. It's going to drop out at 69 breaks. That's the day low right there was 75. So I'm going to give it a heartbeat through that. But we did get some fills right here, right now. Our average price is 03s. So I'm thinking about maybe even dropping it if it comes back up through 177. I'm not in love with this trade anymore, man. I mean, the market just dropped on that story.
2,000 Marines, 3 warships,
it's a lot, right? I mean, 2,000. Why are they sending? I thought we weren't putting boots on ground. Not we. Canada's not doing anything. Well, but on boots on ground there, right?
Why you say yes, sir? I'm pretty sure one of the things that he said was that any regime change would require boots on the ground if they were to get that kind of.
But the United States have claimed that they don't. Their goal is not regime change.
Oh, of course. Well.
That's their goal, is not regime change. They just want to get those nukes out of there. Yeah, well, whatever. I mean, that's what they say.
I don't want to. I don't know.
I don't want
to get political.
That's what Hegseth was talking about that yesterday, and they were just saying that their main concern is the safety of everybody, and they don't like the nuclear department there. But again, regime change would help that. So I think it's all the same kind of talk. Okay, so it looks like NVIDIA. I mean, I'm not going to average in. We just averaged in small into this trade. Obviously, we'll be giving some back here as we can't. Like, that's why you got to take out trades when they hit certain levels, because even if it keeps on going and I'll be, oh, there it goes. And I'd be like, oh man, I can't believe we lost on this trade or whatever. You know, if you don't take anything out and you just hold, well then yeah, you're just going to go 0 for 1. So we might go like 1 for 2. Like we win there and we lose here, you know, giving us a net zeros on this. So, you know, not the greatest experience there on NVIDIA, but we did hear that story and probably should have punched out immediately. Instead, we went over to oil, and oil doesn't seem to be doing much. So I'm going to try to take it back. If we do get a 119 fill, we'll try that. And I just want to hold it against VWAP. That's what worked yesterday. That's 118.40.
I was gonna say, the weird thing is, like, the market's reacting like I would expect to that headline, but the energy market's not reacting that way as I would have expected.
No.
So it's weird. Like, it was enough to get out of the longs, which was right, but then flipping over to an energy long, which we said we would wait for the first piece of news, and it did both things. It was a trend break and it was a piece of news, but it looks like it's not going to work on Boyle. It is what it is. We got to move on to the next. I want to go over to, we had a super chat. We'll get to the super chat in a quick little second, but I got to go back over and look at SoFi. If it is going to end up holding that low, we'll let it get a little bit further down to retest these bottoms, and if we do get in, it's a 16.6 double bottom, so there's a lot of room for it to make a trend break much lower. It doesn't have to do a higher low. You could trade a little bit lower, but if I see any bottom tail candles and it's not under 16.6, then I'm playing the trend break in this stock. Like, that's the plan of action here for me in SoFi. SMCI, which we know was a big story for everybody, or not for a lot of people out here, it lost at VWAP, so unfortunately it was no continuation to that bounce. But just so you know, like, from what I've seen and what I've tracked, like, the high percentage play on one of these deep dive SSR bounces is to snap trade and then get VWAP. I find like taking that profit is usually pretty good. VNU 42, the meaning of life, and my favorite number. FDX has given up $30 gain from the pre-market. How is the chart looking? This was the problem with FedEx.
It's the problem with every earnings play.
Join us in the morning, because I think one of the things that made us not excited is look at the daily. Like, what could we have possibly expected here from FedEx when it had already topped out at this level? And trying to guess where it's going to fill in the gap. It's like, let it do it, and if you like the long, maybe you can get some kind of a trend break. Like, maybe that's what we'll see. Like, you can get a trend break, and this can bounce into VWAP. But these gap fills on earnings, I guess it's not just tech, right? Like, in this case.
No, that's the other thing. You know, we saw that the other day. It was just yesterday. Company had a great report and came back. Oh, it was Micron. They went the other way. So Micron was hit early to the downside and then recovered completely, and that was a good report. So I would think that could be the same thing for FedEx.
And they love to trick you on witching day too.
Yeah, that could be key for FedEx. Is what I was saying is that, like, maybe the witching day is affecting that. So that's a good sort of a look there as well. Just for saying USO, man, boy, oh boy, did we ever get loaded up on this one. So now we are loaded on Boyle. I almost said that's what you were looking at. On USO. So it does come right in. We said we were going to buy 19s. So we actually get 1905 right there. And I did buy into this little area here as well, 1910s, giving me an average price right now of 1919. So it's not like this is a huge move yet, but making back a little bit there what we lost there on NVIDIA. I think that initial spike up into this area could be a decent spot to get out. So I'm going to go over to USO. Right now, I'm putting an offer at 119.45 and see if we get something there. And 48. See if we get that there. Make sure that you do stay hydrated at all points. So shout out to Hydration Nation members.
Good hydration.
Yo, you want another coffee? You got to ask. We got to ask Rob. It's only 10 o'clock right now. Yeah, we're spoiled normally that we have Randy up in here. Oh, you did put it in the chat. Oh shit, then I better put mine in the chat too, or else I'll get.
Every pages, Intel dropped without a lot of people.
Rob will only bring one if we don't ask for
Intel,
both.
Thank you, Intel, for not doing a drop to VWAP until 10:30 yesterday on that move up, and then today doing like the easiest break at 47. So lesson learned. Look, it's at an even dollar level. It's on a Friday and it's on a witching day, so it goes into a strike price. You use that as your level instead of waiting for something else to happen, and that is what it is. So really only into Boyle on that reversal trend, and I'm not even sold after this market sentiment shift after that headline. I can't just say I'm automatically gonna buy the dip here in SoFi. It's really got to show a a very good setup at the low. Like, give me either a double bottom here with a trend break or play into the actual double bottom and break the trend there. There's no need to run in front of a moving freight train. And it's the same thing with IBIT. We kind of figured it didn't get to the high like SoFi did, so SoFi ended up just a little bit better. But we've lost that 70,000 support. So if we're going to be underneath 70,000, I got to start thinking we could trend into the downside. So the reload on the long is not going to happen, at least for me. Yeah, not seeing anywhere that I like the reload on the longs, everybody. This market seems to want to head lower. And this is why we say it's a headline-driven market. Like, your longs were working just fine. Now the SPY is at the overnight lows and threatening to break as we speak, literally breaking as we speak.
Exactly. That's why we say, man, have the ability to rotate. And I think that's a good talk right there. I mean, look what we did with USO. Here we go, man. This was the big money maker yesterday. We had 3 funded accounts. Let's see what winds up happening. Shout out to Papacito. I don't know if it was oil or not. But here we go, man. We just talked about buying that dip. So we did exactly that, man, on USO, as we just did our own rules there. We actually marked it down here, and we just put it out right now also, that I just put this out on Twitter that we were just getting long right now. And there it was right there, news driven. So, you know, we thought we didn't think. We did hear that story about Marines going into the Gulf.
Well,
and
three warships.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like things getting a little elevated and escalated right now in the Middle East, unfortunately, by the sounds of it. Now, Neil and I just reporting what we're hearing. So if that's accurate or not, I'm not sure, but it probably
there's
is,
enough
right?
people report.
Yeah, I mean, it probably is. So, and then right into here. So this is why we're starting to stop out a little bit right now. You're at the 200 period moving average on a 5-minute chart here for USO. As the Nasdaq continues to go downside, that Nasdaq short was probably the better call than the USO long. But either way, you're still running into that area. So a little bit of support, resistance here. Hopefully we can break above it and that will become support. So we're gonna have to give that just a minute, but we did get out up there. We got a nice fill at 75 and then one at 55 or so. So far so good here as we pull back. But look at the Nasdaq. That would have been the short, as people very, very nervous hands about what's going on. And look at this. See ya. There goes NVIDIA straight to the gates as well. This is one of their favorite animations as well. And, you know, what you might want to do. Yeah, the flushing.
I like it because for some, am I wearing that sweater? Hold on a second.
I think so.
No, it's not.
No.
No, it's a why am I happy in that? I don't understand.
Because you're having fun. It's like
smiling.
flushing down. It doesn't mean that you're. It just means doesn't mean that you're. It just means the market.
It just means I'm a terrible model. It's like you should know what it is that you're shooting the thing for the animation for, Neil.
Joe, what do you got going on over there, man?
Man, the markets, we're bleeding here. So look, if you see AMD, if you see NVIDIA, like, we're not just talking about them. Amazon's at the lows and could threaten 205. Meta had already. Well, Meta had already lost $600 and is now down at 593. I'm trying to be somber about it because Meta's down 2 points, and you got to be somber about it because that's some pretty big support that just got lost on Meta. 580 incoming. This is one of the more broken ones that you're going to broken charts, I guess, that you're going to see out there. So yeah, not looking very good at all for Meta. SoFi, believe it or not. Okay, well, last time I checked, that is a wick bottom candle, so it has a chance. The last time it gave you a nice consolidation candle and then held a low. So I was pretty patient with it. Like, I didn't buy it on the second candle. I kind of bought it on the third and got fortunate. I might do the same thing here and be a little bit patient with the entry. As yeah, maybe I was too patient. Yep, patience worked the first time. It doesn't look like it's going to work the second time.
I think you always got to be a little patient with things, man. I mean, even if it doesn't work, we talk about this. It's like following your own rules, and I think that that's a good one. Just be patient and wait for stocks to come into you. There's almost no better of a strategy right now, especially in these markets, because you might not think prices are coming to your levels. Like, even just right here, I'm going to do this trade the pool thing in a second, Andre, but just look at what I'm talking about. Is look at NVIDIA. You know, like, we opened the day at 179. You know, and talking positively about sort of the space and, you know, what I thought about NVIDIA. And then all of a sudden, you know, it makes a move up, it gives you about $1 winner. We were really happy with that. And now all of a sudden, that was a 178 take. That was at 945, ladies and gentlemen. It is now just 1002, and you're wondering if you should buy 175. So, I mean, what goes up sometimes does come down. So try to be patient. We did do a little bit of a reload there on USO. All right, and right into this, man, markets. And by the way, March Madness, we still got to talk about that. There was was some crazy stuff happening there. Bye-bye Wisconsin there.
Okay, look, Big Ten didn't have a good day.
No, they did not. Okay, markets have been extremely active lately, and for traders, this kind of environment creates, you guessed it, opportunity. Big moves means more setups and more momentum. But to really take advantage of these conditions, you need two things. And I already talked about this 10 minutes ago. Discipline, and then the magic, the access to capital. That's where Trade the Pool comes in. Instead of being limited by the size of your own account, traders can access firm capital and focus on executing their strategy and managing risk. No more fear of blowing up your personal account. No more moving your stop loss too early because you're worried about your own savings. This is what we call limited risk trading. If you want to take advantage of all this volatility in today's markets without risking your own capital, please visit Trade the Pool, all one word, tradethepool.com, and scan that QR code right in front of you to get, guess what, 10% off. So I think you should definitely do that. For those of you, we look for funded accounts, and we talked about that with Papacito. So if you are interested in that, man, go give them a look.
When you said the tournament, I clapped because Michigan State had a blowout win, and Michigan also won.
I didn't even see last
But my bracket's screwed because I have a thing. I'm a Big Ten fan.
Everybody's
if a Big Ten team makes the tournament, then I always have them winning in the first round. And I always have every single, like Michigan and Michigan State, I will always, if I think they're going to lose, the first game I think they'll lose, I'll have them winning. And then I'll be smart after that. I'm a gigantic homer when it comes to college basketball teams. Like I don't go with my head.
You didn't tag Rob properly.
I didn't?
No, you just said at Rob.
Yeah, I was
right there.
I just threw it in and I didn't even
Wow, Neil. Okay, just basically here on USO, we did just have a reload, and it did go right back. Like, I actually didn't realize we reloaded twice, but it's fine, it's small. But right in, because I'm waiting for VWAP, and that's what I was going to tell you guys. But it does bounce right back up into 30, then come back down in. So remember, this is the thing. You can make a lot of money on USO and lose a lot of money on the USO because of what we just talked about, volatility. So if it's not going to go up on that story and hold off, then okay, there it is. So now we have a much bigger position on USO right now. I'm going to try to hold it into this level of 1830. If it breaks 1830, then we're going to get out. So that was a little quick look for me on USO. We just got a level at, we could have waited for VWAP exactly. We got about 10 cents ahead of it. So right now we're long, and you can see our average price 86s. So we did wind up putting a lot more on this last trade. So we do have a couple units now. I'm hoping for this to make some sense and go back upside here. But remember, if it breaks that level, then we're gone, and happy to be gone out of that level if it does wind up breaking. So we're here to be careful with this trade, but USO right now starting to give me a little bit of worries because the trend that I thought was going to start to develop really hasn't. And if anything, break of VWAP means we're going the other way on that trend. So yeah, let's be careful with this right now and see if anything's going on right there. Yeah, what we should have done was stick with our plan. I just heard you mention SoFi.
Well,
you should have just gone long again at 6.
Just look at it.
Yeah, I know. There's 675 again. That's twice we had that level pegged and didn't do anything about it. So, all right. Thanks, SoFi.
What? No, I didn't know that. People in the chat are saying something happened to Chuck Norris.
No.
No.
No, he's not even, I don't even think he's that old. Let me see.
No, did Chuck Norris pass away, guys?
What do you mean? I'll just check it right now. This is very easy to find out. I'm just going to check because it'll be all over my Instagram.
No, I have to relog in because my earpiece thing is gone. So I don't have the news in my ear, so I want to get that first. I don't want headlines to come through and we potentially miss it. So I'm just going to log back.
I'm going to say no.
So we can? Okay, good. I don't want that.
Because I don't see anything. I mean, Chuck Norris has passed away accordingly, 86 years old. Sending condolences to his family. Oh, that's sad. That's from TMZ, and they're normally pretty good at all of that. So it looks like right now that is, oh man, one of my most favorite meme stuff of all times are those Chuck Norris things.
Well,
so,
he's also just.
but that doesn't mean I'm not going to report that that's confirmed. But wow, man, that would be really, really sad. I'm surprised my wife has not messaged me that because we have fun with some of those memes. That's sad days if that is the case. Okay, just real quickly here. I mean. hard to change gears real quick, but we are hosting a show. All right, so just real quick right now, great trade, honestly. I'm just gonna say that because I can see my net. There it goes, man. We had 5 units down there of USO. It came right into our level. We had about 1.5 units or so at this point. We took about 2.5, 3 more down there, down into 19. So, hospitalized at 86, okay. Hopefully that's much better storyline anyways than death. Okay.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to, until we know for sure.
Yeah, we don't know. Okay, anyways, a little bit of an empty out there. I got out of a unit and a half. I want to get out another piece right there. It is. Okay, yes. Okay, this could be a really good trade, man. We'll see how this works out. I'm going to offer some 15s there and then let USO go. I'm pretty happy with the levels that we have here. If it falls back in, it falls back in.
There was a headline out of, while I couldn't hear anything, there was a headline saying Iran strikes have failed to halt, Iran says strikes have failed to halt its weapons production. So like that to me would be another sign. If they're even claiming, hey man, you didn't stop us, what are you goading them into more action? Give me a break. Anyways, that headline came in a couple of minutes ago, but my news service thing was dead in my ear. But I've reloaded on Boyle. I want to get to VWAP and break VWAP. It's reversed into VWAP once, but as long as it holds this low, we're going to continue with that long, and it's silly, SoFi. But, I was kind of like, let it make the candle and then get in. That ended up being a bit of a mistake. Maybe we get a third crack at this at the low. If not, there's always the VWAP hold. But I don't want to give up hope. Like this news and what we're hearing out of the Middle East would suggest market weakness. So therefore, you shouldn't compromise on trying to buy something that should be loosely following the market. So I don't want to be stretched trying to get a higher low here on SoFi when I think the market should be weak.
Okay. I agree. We could have a quick look at it. You're talking about SoFi.
SoFi.
Well, I was going to see quickly look at SMCI. It looks like just a failed breakdown there, and you already talked about that at $22. And excuse me. Man, I don't know. Some things are repeating on me over here. $23 right there. That's a 200 period. That looks like actually a decent break long, honestly. I mean, on just a retracement back in. I don't not like the long for the long term, but that's not horrible. There's your 23 top matching with your 200 period. Like, I would prefer the short into that, but then a break. I think there's enough momentum to start going just a little bit northbound on that play. Okay, let's go, man. I mean, if this can rip, that would be real nice. I'll take out another fill right here at 08s or I put 07s there, and I'm not even getting filled. Okay, there we go. We finally get filled at 07 right there. Hopefully, we do have an upside play here in USO. Okay, so that's what I'm waiting for as we start to hear more and more news about Iran. Look, we put it on our watch list there today. I only have 2 trades. It's at NVIDIA long, which we lost on. But I already talked about that trade. That was in and out, so small loss there. But there's USO. We want to wait for news-driven. Respect the headline risk. And then what did I say right here as well? It might be hard to see, but it was patiently watch VWAP right down there on USO. So my trade seems to be pretty simple, man. And I'm a pretty simple man, to be honest with you. There's VWAP. And so that's where we loaded it up, and we're willing to drop it off if it doesn't work out and kicks down just a little bit lower there. So that would be VWAP trading. And we're going to play VWAP off of its most recent lows. So that's 118.30. So the fact that we're long at 75, it's 40 cents in the money. Now that's about a 40 cent worth of risk. So realistically, this is where we should have started to take some out. But we did panic a little bit as we got right back to 119 there. And there's an out at 119.6. Okay, here we go. So now we're starting to get going. We might as well hold on to this USO trade and see if we can get back up somewhere around that 119.50 area. I'm going to put an offer in and around there. It's almost now 2-1. So far so good here on USO trading. And yeah, man, I'm still a little bit shook by that Chuck Norris thing, but that life and death.
It's a life thing. It's just, yeah.
It hurts because we're so, not that we're so old, but like the people that we watched growing up are now starting to,
that's what,
just get to that magical age, unfortunately. And there it goes, man. Monster trade here. I wish we had held it all, but we're going to wait now for a higher side here on USO.
It's like exactly the same age as my dad.
86 is actually more. I mean, I think it's 78. I think is the average, what do they call median lifespan of a North American male.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the guy's obviously had a fantastic life.
That's funny how lives are different.
That's what it's all about. I wish I had some kind of a graphic that that would be like celebrate Chuck Norris. That's the only martial arts related thing I have. So I'm just going to hit it anyways because that's how we're going to roll.
That's a funny one. Chuck Norris actually died 20 years ago, but you know, death just didn't have the nerve to tell him, right? So there, but there's going to be lots of those funny things.
Just quick, I want to go back to SMCI. I know we're not necessarily trading SMCI. It hasn't been able to break through VWAP yet, but I think that's a yet. It's still putting in, it's got a higher low. There's a chance we could get some kind of a trend forming to break out this top, which would be around the 23 level, but nothing for me just yet. If you were looking short, I suppose you could just use VWAP as your short area. That would make a little bit of sense to me. SoFi is headed right back in. It's about to retest the bottom. So here we go. It was able to bounce off this twice. Remember, the double bottom on SoFi since Muddy Waters is 16.58 or 55 to 58. So it can get all the way down to 16.6 and still, to me, be a long trade. But it's got to be a mean reversion setup. It's not a catch a falling knife trade. It's a look for a bottoming tail wick and then go from there. Oh yeah, Intel and AMD were a couple of chip names I wanted to pay attention to, but I mean, suffice to say, when that headline hit, I mean, hindsight being 2020, like shorting Intel would have been genius, but that's not where the brain initially went. But that's a pretty clean breakdown here on Intel when that headline hit. But I don't really see too much of a bounce play. I'd want to look continuation short probably in tech, and I'm not chasing it at the lows. It's only 10:13. There's still plenty of time.
Yeah, still plenty of time, man. And I'm just going to post this again here on Twitter. I mean, this was now a couple times in a row, and there's VWAP right there, right? So VW, man, I got to learn how to use a better, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get rid of that. But anyways, that's VWAP right there. We'll get it all figured out later. But that's what it is right there. We'll tweet that back out. And I'm just glad that we talked about that. We talked about VWAP. I'm going to try to let this go. I'm waiting for 119.60 now. And maybe we get that little upside take there on USO now. So, I feel like I'm getting better and better every day with being more patient, trying to pick the right names, the right winners, and the right levels. I mean, we absolutely hit that SoFi twice. But as Neil mentioned, it's very dangerous with the market going down. I wouldn't look at this again. I know we missed it there at 16.75 and there again, but right now, look what the market's doing, man. It's really out of control to the downside. There's not been, that's a little bump. That is not even a bump back up to the 50-period moving average. So, you go down to 24.7 and then you bump up 30 handles. No way, or sorry, 50 handles. No way. Nice move to the downside, not after a 200 handle correction. You need to bounce more than that to get going. Maybe now we're seeing a little bit of a bounce in the market. So I don't know why. Maybe I have to zoom back out a little bit here on the TQs. Are we at some key levels? Oil turning around a little bit. I'm going to take some out at 37s now. Let me just have a quick look here to see if we're at, this is the week. I think we're going to be at weekly lows right now. We already took that out. Was that the weekly low yesterday at open? Yeah, it looks like it was. So yesterday's open was weekly and we bounced off of that. Now that we've sort of closed underneath that, or sort of now that we're underneath that level there, we could see some more downside pressure. If anything on the Qs, what about a short around 588? If we can get back into that level, that could be a trade as well. I don't think Rob is paying attention to the chat here. I might have to go get some coffees ourselves here, as we are creatures of habit over there. Oh, Joe, you just offered? Thanks. No, I'm just joking. All right, so here goes the Qs. Downside right there as well. And we got a little bit out of oil there. It goes, can you believe we're at 60? It goes to 58. I'm just going to be stubborn and keep it at 60 because, honestly, oil does not move that way. It should just, this is USO. So I know when we talk about silver, we talk about SLV. We know it's not spot silver. I know that I'm not trading crude oil as in this contract.
Here's the weird thing. I don't know if you've seen this.
Well, that's because XLE is the producers.
If you look at like XLE and you look at Oxy,
look what Chevron's.
There's a bunch of names within the space, individually, that are not looking all that strong. Like CVX, which I love. It's not really doing much of anything. So when you're headline trading, you want to trade something more direct, I think. But sentiment-wise, I prefer CVX. Because I like this company, I like the stock. But I think when you're headline trading, you got to be looking directly at something which is gonna really move and give you that juice. But I know there's a lot of names that we haven't really covered, and I want to just circle back if I can.
Oh, did you just drop the name Circle there?
Well, actually I was gonna look at Tesla, but I should have. I should have gone to Circle. Yeah,
should circle back to it.
That would have been.
There's our
cool
60 on oil, by the way.
Yeah, I just got to fill up there. Oil's going to the upside as well, but Tesla, that's making a trend break as well. If you happen to be looking at some other names, Tesla breaking trend and heading back into the upside there. I don't know why, but I guess I said it. So Circle's been a fantastic stock. Is it doing anything good? No. It's at the low, but maybe even this is catching a bit of a bottom. I was hunting at iBit for another chance as Bitcoin was trying to break its morning trend. It hasn't done so yet, but I've got this trend line up. If it holds the trend down, there obviously isn't a long. But we caught one bid. I'd look for a second, but I'm not rushing into anything like that. At this point, I just want to see this trend in Boyle take us through the volume weighted average price. Like I'll reload off the lows unless we get a new headline that suggests something different. And if that happens, then fair enough, we can get out, but play it into VWAP and play it into the high until something else is proven. And it is what it is. Like I think we came in this morning and the first couple of trades were things that were strong for the market, and that shifted. I mean, 2,000 Marines and 3 warships sent into the Gulf will do that sometimes, and you just got to be able to shift with it.
Oh, man. Yeah, Rob's asking. He messaged me privately, okay. Regular. He says, do you want a regular or like an extra large? I was like, what the hell? Huh? Rob is a weird guy. Fun guy, actually, I should say. All right, so, yeah, well, I just told him regular. I don't know.
I half want to just be like, what's the extra large?
All right, I'm going to tell him that you want to.
I don't actually want extra large.
Too late. I'm going to see what he brings.
This is what he brought last time, which is a pretty decent sized mug. What is the extra large going to look like, Rob? I'm out of pure curiosity. I'll probably end up waiting.
Yeah, I'm only doing it for pure curiosity because for me, I don't like even the coffees.
Don't have cups that are,
yeah, like I'm always go down to a third. Like I don't if it's not like very very hot. I'm not really a guy unless it's a cold brew. I love some cold brews. That's for sure. Okay, Rob, message has been received. Yeah, you were saying that you were going to get some cold brews in Florida, right?
That's my go-to.
Yes, man. I'm really enjoying those.
It's 30 degrees out. It's just that's a perfect way. You're sitting on a patio somewhere, grabbing some breakfast.
Yep, I 100% agree with that statement. I'm going to try to have some cold brews maybe right after this, as I'm off. So we're going to have Obi sitting in this desk for me. But this
the rink.
This is no, but maybe like on the way home or something. I don't know. Yeah, at the rink. No, we get coffees for the rink for sure. But there it is right there, man. Oil right now gushing in profits. That is for sure. I mean, I hope that you guys again followed a little bit of that. I mean, and it doesn't matter if you took the trade or not. It's just more about like I think what we're trying to do here is just the logic behind it all. And you know, sometimes logic will be flawed. But when we started to hear that, and I've been trading oil with you guys now for weeks. And it's very news-based, obviously, and I don't need to tell you guys that. So, you know, I do think that although we don't have a dare here today, a no Adara, no problem for this trade, but it was just like we get the news and we relay it back to you. And I've just seen so many times that oil, you know, once we start to hear about the Strait and this and that, it's really what Donald Trump apparently right now, and nobody can control right now, is cost of oil. And, you know, no matter what's happening, it seems like it wants to keep getting into some of these levels, 120 and change. I'm going to get another offer here at 67. That might be a bad omen saying that number. I was just waiting at 80, believe it or not, and it just went to 78 again. So last time it did that, we actually wind up getting it. So we'll sit there. There it is. Yeah, give it. Yeah, we got it. Nice level there for oil. And just zooming back out for this, USO has the ability to do this. So we're still waiting. I think like a really good area if we don't get any, you know, supply shock stories here. You know, this 120.50, and we still have a ways to go, but that's still $1 from here. But is it? Yeah, 120.50 is $1 from here. 121 might be the end of this trade. Like if we can get anything up there, that would be monstrous, and we would have a great Friday if that were the case. But I was going to drop this out at 119.30. I'm not sure if it's a reload there at VWAP or not. If anything, I'm getting a little nervous here as I see some of the profits coming back in as we back and forth 25, 30 cents. But that's a good little look there for USO. And then the small cap name, and Neil's on Boyle, but Ondis was looked at today also earlier. Great move right at 9:30, obviously, to the high side there, but there it goes, right back down into $10. This looks like we got a good little base there on ONDS in and around 10.15. We did have a nice move down. Obviously, that's almost You know, that's about 7% or so to the downside there. It avoids going SSR and looks to be holding this 10-15 area. So, you know, it looks like that was a good level from yesterday as well. So ONDS coming in right now into a decent level of $10. We can see if it wants to hold that. That could be a decent trade idea there if you are a small cap kind of guy. Yeah, ONDS making moves right now.
Yeah, one of the spot silver and gold. Yikes, and more yikes. 5%, to SLV down 5%. Obviously, we're going to talk about the ETS. I'll say that every single time because you could be tuning in for the first time and you hear us say silver and gold. And it's like, why are you looking at the ETS? Because that's what we would generally trade here at Real Trading. But you'll see both flipping precipitously to the downside, unfortunately. And so glad that I didn't try to buy the dip again in Bitcoin. It doesn't look like we're going to hold on to that 70,000 at least. Now that we're a little bit later in the day, I want to see things set up maybe on the 15-minute a little bit more instead of just kind of taking that first available dip buy. And it's trending down on the 15-minute. Any long on Bitcoin has to show me a trend break on the higher time frame. Looks like this one is headed for another flushy. I just saw in the chat JL8 reminded me of something by posting that Netflix is going up.
Is it?
It is. I mean, it's held a little double bottom, potential breakout, but that we hadn't looked at the visualizer. And not a surprise, number one on the list is SMCI. Why? Because it's down 27% because they can't stay out of trouble. We got Tesla on here, which we have looked at, NVIDIA, obviously. AZTR, a penny stock. So I'm sure Sharif will be all over Azitria, whatever it's called. Oh, this is what.
There we go. You got the big cup.
This is what I got. That's the big cup. It is pretty big. I'll take it.
I think it's like 20% more. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's less. It's a heavy cup.
Yeah, but it's definitely so much that it's going to get cold too fast. I appreciate Obi because he gave us gifts of like these like warmers that we could put our coffees on.
Yeah, that's Obi.
But there's too much stuff going on here. I can't even find somewhere to plug it in. And I'm not adding another power bar back there. That's asking for disaster. But if you want to get your symbol into that locator that I was showing you, just to finish the thought here, you hop in the chat to do so. Hit the like and subscribe. It's a subs-only chat, so make sure you hit the subscribe. And then you go $, and I will say $, I don't know. Let's just go with Circle, because we were talking about that.
Oh, yeah, we should look at Circle.
So $ Circle, Meta just popped in there, MU. There's Circle, SoFi, ANNA. Someone just typed their name probably.
ANNA?
Is that an actual stock? Oh, that is a stock.
Banana?
Huh. Yeah, that is a small capper that's running. I just thought someone typed in their own name, but congratulations. That is an actual, you can't know every stock in the market, people. 50% and a big time runner. For sure, Sharif is looking at this habitual line stepper, where that is a big, I don't know the story, randomly pulled this up. This is running like crazy. Like absolute gangbusters here. So you've got yourself a good one if you're riding that small capper. Let me see some details for you. I'm sure there's a story here. Blah. So it looks like, it's probably some kind of oil name. Why? Because the headline is referencing Iran in particular. So it's got to be an oil or gas stock for sure. And a small cap oil or gas stock. What is our short float on this thing? I want to get you some details if I can. 35 million float, 3.5 million float. So this is a very, very tiny float, which would help explain why it's able to run like this. Yeah, crazy. Good one, Anna.
I just sort of decided right here that we're going to look at the heat map in a minute. So, shout out to everybody watching on TikTok and wherever you're watching, man. Glad to have you guys on board there. If we break through VWAP, like I was actually going to get out of half if we break through right there. That basically puts it back to flat, and that's making me feel some kind of way. So I'm going to offer some out now a little bit more at these levels just to make sure that we do, make this trade count, because we already saw our back and forth there on NVIDIA where we were long and then dropped it off and wound up being basically flat on this stock. So we got to be careful with making sure that we capture profits, and especially if we're getting a little nervous. I mean, this looks to be pretty top heavy. Volume's starting to die down. We're not getting any more stories, which is fine. We don't need the stories. We already have the story, and we already made money on it. So again, capture the profits when they're there. And we did that, and now I'm just trying to, say, okay, it's not going to be the $1 million trade that we had hoped it would be, of course, but it looks like it'll be good enough to get us a little bit of profit. And good thing we started to panic a little bit there, getting out in the 30s, and we just got some more out there at 25 as here it comes right back in. And the reason why I went over this is that's why I wanted to talk about it, because we put the stop order in, sort of sensing that maybe we were getting a little top heavy, and you got to have that sort of spider sense going, and we'll just make sure we do have that offer out there. So I'm offering also 20s, and then back up, there it is, and then back up in the 50s. So just easing out a little bit. I mean, we could be wrong, this thing could rip, but that's trading for you, and that's kind of my style. And we get in and out probably too often and too many times. So, but we'll adjust it, or we won't. This is an interesting. We always talk about this space right here, the manufacturing and some of these. Wow, there goes USO just right back up again. Yeah, Deere. What was 3% down we're looking at? Oh, Lamb. Yeah, LRCX right here. Yeah, G Vernova. I mean, I think all these names are just buys on any dips, and I don't know if these dips are far enough yet. But Caterpillar down to. Yeah, 670. I mean, Caterpillar's it's like a $450 name. Like, that's been done really well. There's not even a dip there. AMAT's been really good, man. TT, JCI, and everybody else right there for consumer manufacturing. Energy looks like that's where the energy is today. A lot of people focused over there, and that's where obviously my number one stock. And I just want to tell you, I'm going to be up 7 times on USO if I were to get out right now that I lost on NVIDIA. So just to give you sort of a little bit of an example there. All right, that's that. That's energy names. And then just looking back here, I think this is where we want to be long, right? I mean, some of these technology service names, but Meta down 2%. Palantir, wow, did you break 150? Not yet, 151 for Palantir. What up, Adara? If you're watching, you'll be happy right there. Oracle down 4% today. That's going to be good, as she does not like that stock. NVIDIA downside, Broadcom, AMD, Cisco, Intel, Micron. Ooh, Micron, again today down to 429. Maybe we should look at what the low yesterday was, because you're coming right back into that. And then one last look. We talked a little bit about financials just because we've been looking at SoFi. Where's my guy Robinhood? It's always over here somewhere. There it is. Oh, no. Robinhood down another 4% today. Not good there for Robinhood. So
I'll give you one hint at Micron's low yesterday.
Well, is that 430 now? Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, 422?
It's a little better than it.
Yeah. So, all right. So Micron getting close to that magical level. Yeah, that's a good hint, right?
Contractually,
I mean, it's almost not even a hint.
Contractually obligated that if a reference comes up, I hit one of 2 keys.
Oh.
I just can't seem to find the other one. Oh, there it is. Oh my goodness,
there it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's even.
I know where mine.
But then that one's like, I feel like the other one's a little more family friendly.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. I would agree with that. All right, so USO is making a move back up. We just got another fill at 30. I was still waiting at 50. If 50 gets there, great. And then I promise you, for the last 30 minutes, as I'm out of here at 11 or so, we'll wait to see where this one goes. I'm in Scarborough today. Shout out to everybody who lives up in Scarborough. That's where we are having the tournament. It's a Leaside tournament. So if you guys are part of the Leaside Wildcats, that's who's hosting the tournament. Okay, 119.47 coming up right there. Scarberia, yeah, good one.
I remember playing Leaside.
Those of you that know.
Years ago in baseball.
Yeah.
And it was the first time when I was playing for Brampton that I got to play, and I was maybe 11 or 12 or 13 years old, and the stadium we played in.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my goodness, like there was like steps in the dugout, and it was like a real dugout.
Oh, wow.
And like that was like one of the coolest moments ever. I don't know why Leaside even had a stadium or field like that, but that was pretty cool. One thing it's giving me a little bit of pause. Look, Boyle bounced as well with USO there, but I'm looking at IBIT. Like IBIT's trying to break trend up. The Qs, I should have just pulled over the other trend. The Qs as well, like look at the consolidation and trend break back into the upside. Like it's looking like we're making a bit of a right-hand turn here. Even SMCI, by the time I get to it, SMCI is double bottoming and trying to put another trend break on it. If this can do one, it's gonna be hard to see with it. I gotta zoom way in because of the gap down. These wicks are gonna make it not work that well. It's hard to use the trend line when you have the scaling on the chart like that, but you kind of get the idea here. This is also breaking trend. So I want to see if this can close above the trend line and just do like a scalp into the volume weighted average price as the market is trying to come back here. And if it does, I don't want to reload another time if we end up breaking out in the overall market, because I think that could mean we'll have some relief on the energy names.
Yeah, so Okay, I'm only in energy. Let's just look around for something else. What is Coinbase doing? Yesterday we had that super chat about Coinbase and wondered about, I don't think it was today expiry potentially there. And, you know, we talked about getting some out yesterday right around here when we got that super chat, talking about the cluster happening up there and mentioning that maybe you might want to get out, and then it fell back in and you got an opportunity to get some out at 204.50. And obviously we got to watch out for crypto down there and Bitcoin if you're going to actually trade some Coinbase. So there's a nice move up for coin. Looks like it might get going. I mean, the market is trying to go right now as well. What a good base that potentially was there at 224.250 downside right now on the Nasdaq. Did a name like NVIDIA possibly bottom? I mean, if you get a bottoming, I mean, possibly yes, but still, I'd like to see it break the 50 period right there. If NVIDIA can get above 176.30, that to me would signal a much better upside possibility, obviously, there for NVIDIA. So we'll see if that can go. USO is back at its highs again. So obviously me getting out a little bit prematurely there. And we still have, so unfortunately right now I have 25, it's still good, that's 25%, but only 25% left right now of USO. As here it goes, you see too many outs, but I'm not here all day again. So if we can come up in here, I think my next out would be pretty smart to be around 75. So let's put, actually I still have my 80 fill. So let's wait for that. We missed the 80 last time. It went to 119.78 right here. We were waiting at 80 and it went to 78s and missed us. So I'm going to sit there and see if we can get a little bit of revenge on that one and take that fill. Although it's only going to be for about a quarter of what we have left, putting me down to about 15%. Still something that we could get. Let's wait for the highs. And remember, we are going to stop out. What about that wick right there? That's not a horrible stop out. Or even a break of the 50 period moving average, 119.25, where we were just at. Not a horrible out either. So, trade your book, but I'm going to put an offer right now to get out of maybe 25% or so of what we have left. 119.24. Is that what that level is right there? The 50 period? Yeah. I'm going to double check it on another. Yeah, I have it at 26 on e-signal, so that's good enough. All right there. We'll get out of a quarter of what we have left if that does break. So let's get a little bit more aggressive on the outs here as the market's bouncing back up. And, a strong NASDAQ or a strong Dow or a strong SPY there has not led to strong oil either. So, yeah, we'll see if it wants to go right now. ES down 0.8 right now.
By the way, I just saw the Fed funds tool for a hike is now up to 12%.
Ooh.
That's doubled from 2 days ago. On Fed Day, we were sitting at 6% chance.
It was only 8 this morning.
Yeah, well, yeah, now it's 12.
50% up.
That they could raise rates has gone to 12%. That is not bullish. Anyways, it's just an opinion that's not bullish for the markets. The markets are bouncing, so as that sentiment shifts, it's kind of going in the other direction. SMCI did break that trend line. Save, going to look for VWAP as the target, which is about 2280 or so. I like, if a stock is this bad, gap down, look for a trend break or something like that. I'm always playing that one into VWAP if it's SSR. Remember, this is bad news for SMCI sentiment-wise, no question about it. As far as some other names go, whether you're looking at the NASDAQ, which I think we just showed you, a relatively strong stock because it's already off the lows, but is not bouncing now as the market is Apple, because it has this nice wedge pattern going, right, which I like a wedge pattern because it breaks to the upside and it kind of gives you an obvious entry. But as the market bounces, for whatever reason, Apple is dropping, which I am not in love with. And the other side, and once again, it's like no matter what you look at, I mean, Boyle's bouncing, that's great, and maybe SMCI works, but seriously, Intel, what the heck is this? At 40, look at what happened at the even dollar 47. It wicks that top by 6 cents to give you the perfect even dollar entry revert short. The long at 45, look how tight that entry is. The day you don't look at something is the day that it does stuff like this. And Cool Brioche just said Babcock is having a good BW.
B-dubs?
Yeah, it's perma-green is the comment they use. It's up, right? But it's not really, not going ham. It's up, and it could be making a breakout. When this stock goes, it goes. Look at it trend yesterday, like that, pretty much unabated to the quarterback. Another crazy up day in this stock. No breakout just yet. That is Obi's long pick. I want to say like one of his pick, but like it's the best way to describe it is Obi's only long pick. Okay, so this could be finally the press that takes Boyle up, because I'm just taking this into the high. Like if it gets to the high, that's been the target all along. It's into VWAP and then it's into the high, and I've already scalped most out in front of VWAP, so the rest is a hold into not today's high.
Okay, come on USO, don't do it again.
But like the prior day low, which is also this high.
Okay, we waited for it.
Money, 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 money.
There it is. All right, guys, there's your 2 times daily goal. If you're in this trade, we did have our goal at one point on NVIDIA and lost it. And we try not to do the same thing here today for USO, man. What a good take that was. And honestly, the reason why I keep saying that is it was just so clean, because right here, we said US, wait for news, we got that, then be patient and wait for VWAP. So it's 1, 2, there it is, right? So sometimes we are smarter than we look, and most times not. But there it is, man. It's a good move, and we are now officially into Dollar Club now on USO. And it's just going higher here. So I said that I thought maybe we would, and we can wait now. I mean, let's do that. I mean, we said we would wait for 119.80. We got that. That was your dollar there. And it wasn't even about it being a dollar. It was about it being the high of the day. I didn't even realize where it was right now. But now you're at 120.10. Now you're at $1.30 and going higher. So if I just zoom in here and try to figure out where USO is actually going, remember, we're long right now. We've already taken out these levels, so that was key. That's 119.80 right there. We've taken it out. Now we're starting to go higher. What about right into here? 120.70, 120. Let's get greedy with this, right? Let's go to, well, it's almost already here. Let's go to 120.40s, and we'll see if we can get out something on that side. If it does rip to the high heavens, we'll see what happens with USO right now, trying to get back upside right there. So yeah, man, working out so far on that take through VWAP is USO, and just hope that some of you guys were riding that up there. We got Boyle, we've got SMCI. SMCI is interesting. Is it trying to bounce? Because that was the low.
It's trying to do a double bottom bounce. We missed it the first time on SMCI. I just threw my order on this. You know what? I'm going to follow rule, and if I don't get filled on that candle, well, that's Amex. If you're at Real Trading, one of the things that you should always do, and I really need to correct we have like all different markets we can trade. My keyboard setup, for weird reasons, I have different keys set up on like Nasdaq New York and Amex, because we don't really trade Amex that much. So every now and then, I'll go to punch out of something on the Amex, and I'll hit the wrong key, and I'll hit, like it'll be just a nonsense key. And then I'll remember, oh yeah, I gotta change it so that all of my keys cross markets are exactly the same. Like I want ARCA to be ARCA, regardless of which market I'm trading. So anyways, but we're out at 18 on this, but SMCI did not work. So I can flip to SMCI now. So I like the mean reversion, and I said in the note this morning that I would play it for an SSR bounce break if it did, and it tried. Like there's the trend break, but once you lose the bid on that trend break, the rule is to get out. So it would have worked the first time you take it, but at that moment, not really. I wasn't looking at SMCI, to be honest with you. We were looking at some other things, and rightfully so. So far, I don't really see anything else. SoFi might be out of pocket. IBIT's pretty much gone. I shouldn't say pretty much gone. It's not dead yet. Like that trend break already happened in IBIT. There, as we're looking at SMCI and Boyle at the moment. But like that was your chance to maybe grab IBIT in here. We tried it the first time, and that could be gone. SoFi, we did try that the first time. We got a good move on SoFi, about 1% and change, and now it's holding on to VWAP. So there could be something here for SoFi at least. Like SoFi holds the low again. Now we can get a VWAP hold into a potential break of 17. So that could be a little something for the next opportunity. About 20 minutes until the midday. It'll be this or a reload. I don't think, maybe IBIT, but I'm thinking SoFi could be it for me on VWAP. Yeah, good start to the day. What's that?
Some sort of a sound, drill or something, or vacuum maybe even. Not happening right here. I was just telling Brendan, we do have a bunch of different shorts out on YouTube, so go make sure you guys go check out some of those shorts. There was some yesterday. I think maybe your trade what's the midday thing called? Knowledge? No, Neil.
lesson.
Lesson of the, is it lesson of the day? Yeah, maybe it is. Yeah, okay.
Doesn't
So
have a formal.
okay, so that lesson of the day
Derek
was
just
out
called
there, and some talk about the USO trade yesterday was there, and a few other things about NVIDIA and whatnot. So go check those out at our Instagram page right now, Trader TV Live, or at Trader TV Sean on Instagram as well. Should all be tagged up into that. All right, there goes USO. All right, so I just wanted to have another quick look there. Sia's about to take the desk, so that's nice. Good to see her there today. Thank you, everybody that's watching us, obviously there on TikTok as well. Keep those good times going right now on TikTok. I'm just going to call it up. I went to the live thing. All the time it says I'm not following. I don't know how that is right here, but I have to format this screen. I have it on the lowest resolution, but you guys just hit the like as many times as possible right there. 78 of you watching. So thank you so much to everybody here. Braverly, Hulk, Topper, myself. Okay, some comments are filtered, so we know that. Thank you for that there. But go watch us over on TikTok. A lot of fun on that platform as well. Yeah, so I'm still waiting. We just got one. I was at 120.40s. I can't, honestly, I can't make this up. So I'll just sit there and keep my hands off so hopefully you guys can believe me. It went to 120.38 there and stopped. So I'm at 120.40s. Hopefully we get back up to that upside right now and we can ring the register for about $1.60 on that as well. But I do want to say a shout out to everybody that's in the chat, man. And we could do a little bit right now. We could do a little bit of a roll call right now because I don't do this often enough and it's something that we started with. So I'm about to say hi to everybody that's here right now in chat. So say hi back at me and maybe I can just do a little, here, let's do a little wave. Hi, everybody, right there. Let's see who I can find out right there. So what's up to Dr. Shuttle, Andrew Chow, D-Dog is there, Mike Philip DeRider. Oh God, now it's gonna go way too fast. What have I done? Okay, what's up Angelo? What's up with Jonathan? What's up with Luis Valbueno there? What's up to something about old time something? What's up to Derek Thompson, old wise trader? There it was again. I just, here, if I, can I, how do I can't pause it. Oh, I just hold this, I can pause. There we go. Ah. All right, what's up to Robert Lewis? What's up to Paul? Midwest Cannabis, have one on me. Ray HQ's here as well. John D. Pietro, shout out to you as well. Buffalo Soldier, shout out to the Buffalo Bills and the Buffalo Sabres, of course. Come on, USO, if I do this, you gotta print me. Oh, there, I love all those Trader TV Live. You gotta be a member to do that. Where's my guy over here? All those Trader TV Live symbols. Gonna get a shout out. There it is. What's up, Ryan O'Day? Top of the morning to ya over there, my guy. What's up to Cosby there, grandchildren, seasoned veterans, and whatnot. Shout out to a sad day today, hearing of the passing of Chuck Norris.
Did we get the super chat?
I'm not sure, but here comes one. I said I was at 120.40. Hands up in the air. Boom, right there, and there it goes. Nice day so far on USO, man. Double your pleasure today on your daily goals. So far, so good, man. I've only made 2 trades today. NVIDIA and USO. There it is.
I always feel like it's on a witching day, you want to do a little bit less.
Maybe, I don't know.
Dave, is that the Dave with Dave? Is that you and you just changed your name? I don't know, but I like
a lot of Daves in this world.
Yeah, but we have the regular Dave. I have no idea, but thank you for the super chat. I think setting a goal, getting a visual image of what it is you want. You've got to see what it is you want to achieve before you can pursue it. Grandmaster Norris. So I don't know if that's his quote, but let's just, I assume it is. I'll take your word for it. I think those are wise, regardless, those are wise words. It doesn't even matter. And of course, rest in peace.
Yeah, setting a goal. That's why we talk about that every day, right? Hitting the daily goals, hitting that. So shout out Chuck Norris and Neil. Kind words and wise words, I think.
Yeah, thanks.
Is right there, man. Yeah, we're just.
It is David.
Okay, cool, man. Yeah, thanks for all those super chats. And yeah, a lot of good feels here today, man. This is now $1.70 on USO. SMR not doing anything. Coinbase not doing anything. Let me check out my boy Marvell. Probably also not doing anything. And yeah, man, you're right, Joseph. We should have doubled our shares on that trade. But you never know what's going to happen. Sometimes we double them and yeah, it goes double smacks in our face. Marvell downside, upside right now. This name I've already said I think this name pops. But with the market down 1.2%, Marvell just can't get going. So down 0.3 on Marvell. Not worried about that. Look at NVIDIA, man. This is the other trade. So we only have, again, when our losing trades are going to look like this and our winning trades can look like this, that's the kind of trading that we want to do. So, happy with that. The only thing is, yes, thank you, much appreciated. Yesterday, look, we wore the vest yesterday, and we absolutely did damage in the afternoon. We forgot to put in our glasses there today, but, damage being put on again. It's now almost $2 in the money right now on USO. Only 15 minutes left. We got Sharif, we've got Sia, we've got Joe coming in the midday, and then the man, the myth, the legend himself, Obi, will be filling in for me at 2 p.m. So no more of this kind of trading. We'll get Obi and Neil back in there, and then we'll see what kind of moves can happen near the end of the day. I'm going to take one more piece out here at 65 on USO as we're getting into that area, man. We talked about that 121 sort of high for USO right into here. And we're almost there right now. Like, wow, what a dream to have been able to hold all those. But nice move here back into USO. And unfortunately, with that fill at 40s there that we got, I only have 10% left of this trade. So that's it. We're going already. And yeah, someone just put a good note there. Chuck Norris passed away in Hawaii. I mean, that's pretty much paradise. So shout out to you, Chuck. And
he lived in Hawaii? I didn't know that.
I don't know if he lived there or not, but that's where he passed away. And I saw that on TMZ or whatever as well. Just quickly, we did put a stop order in. Remember, if we were going to break sort of this 50-period moving average, we were going to get out of a quarter. We can adjust that now to the 50-period being 1950. So that's already $1 lower than this. We don't want to give all of that back, but we only have 10% left. So we'll see what happens now with USO coming up to a pretty key level right now. We've done pretty well joining the momentum on this stock upside. So that's what we did, right? Once it gets going, let it go a little bit. And so I just got to do better at that. And so far, so good here. I'm going to take out another small piece here at 30. And we'll go back now. 7.5% left of Marvell. What's up, Sia?
Ooh, Sia.
Good morning, everyone. We're just going to do a quick recap. Yesterday, Sharif and I were talking about how Nexstar deal was facing antitrust fight as states were pushing back. Well, I have an update for you. Nexstar has closed on the Tegna merger and it has won regulatory approval. The broadcast station groups are merging after the companies have received FCC and DOJ approval late of yesterday. And Nexstar announced its proposal $6.2 billion acquisition, as we know it, of Tegna in August and has been waiting on regulatory approval since then. Just context that companies like Nexstar and Tegna, which own broadcast station affiliates throughout the U.S., have long been against decades-old FCC rules that prevent such mergers. That's all.
Thank you very much, Sia. And, oh, no, why is that the same one? I clicked the new one. Sorry, okay, well, there it is. Adventure Dog LA. I like that one. I like that. Thank you for the super chat made. It's so specific that we have to say the number. $3,156.47 today, and exactly 4,000 yesterday, which is, I love it. It's exactly 4,000, but the exact to the penny number is chat is better than any paid chat room I have ever been in, pure and simply. Thank you and your entire team for everything you do. That's what it's, the community is undefeated, man. Like, remember when we did the visualizer and someone typed in that Anna stock, right? And Anna went absolutely, when Anna was going ham. I mean, it's pulling back a little bit now, but that was probably the best looking small cap runner out there. And you find it because our viewers are interested in it, because we can go over the entire market. So thank you, Adventure. I think it's a great sentiment, and it's incredibly important. You can't see everything. There's no chance you can monitor everything in the market. There's no chance that you're being able to observe every opportunity. But what you can do is learn from others' mistakes, learn from others' ideas, ask questions, communicate with everybody. I think that's fantastic. Everyone's going to have their different styles, and I think that's great. And I appreciate you for the super chat. That's the one thing. Like, trading at home is not easy, or trading by yourself in a general sense is not going to be easy. So being able to bounce ideas off and learn from others is great. And the other thing too is be able to keep your ear to the ground, get news like we do at the desk.
Just a quick announcement here. Trump's administration has announced a partnership with SoftBank and AEP Ohio. And SoftBank is currently planning a giant Ohio data center, AI data center, that will be powered by gas plants.
Gibbity. Thank you there, Sia. Almost at Adara, but thank you, Sia, filling in admirably for Adara there. We were looking at the next opportunity. We said it was going to be SoFi bouncing off VWAP. There's the bounce. There's the higher low. There's the break of the consolidation. Now we'll play for the high, which is going to be basically, like, it's right in and around, not where it closed, because it ended up closing on like this dip in here. But I want to look at the resistance off of that close, which is about 17.15. So SoFi has has double bottom since the muddy water support. There's your double bottom, and we take our second salvo in this one. So we like it. We'll get our second trade here in SoFi as we are on the long train again.
I was just saying, what's up, Sharif? He just said, no, it's choo-choo's fine. He was just asking what's up, and I was like, very long USO. And I think like when it comes into view up there, that's going to be a trade that I'm going to have to keep on looking at for sure. And I'm going to be gone here, but I do know what's for lunch because I did have a look because Raquel messaged me. Initially, I had the full day off, but now I only have the half day here. So I already know what's for lunch. It's going to be a good one, trust me, when I tell you right now. It is an American flag.
Mac and cheese.
So that's always, oh, by the way, boom goes the dynamite right there.
Fried chicken.
Yeah, fried chicken would be great.
Fried chicken.
We've only ever had two things when it's been an American flag. We've had fried chicken and we've had sandwiches. We've never had burgers with this new caterer, ever. Not that I can recall. Too bad Adara wasn't here. She would.
Yeah, no, I don't recall it either.
Neither do I. I don't remember like straight up like chicken sandwiches. Like basically we don't have that.
Some burgers.
But today it would be the second option, and it would be what's for lunch. We'll do it one more time. Today's flag, U.S., and today's what for lunch is assorted sandwiches. We have eggs here. It's talking about egg sandwiches, chicken avocado, turkey, whatnot. We hopefully have some pastrami in there, some Montreal smoked meat.
Chicken avocado. I'm count me surprised there.
Well, avocado, it's like a California, like chicken with avocado spread. I mean,
I'm just surprised I don't think I'll be getting that one.
I don't know, maybe whatever. Mixed green salad, and then Neil, your favorite always comes with this one. It's fresh baked cookies. So that's what's for lunch, and should be a good one there today, I would feel like. Sandwiches are the best. I mean, for me, sandwiches are number one. I would think that that's, for me, one of the best. I like, a sandwich with a salad, or just a salad topped with like a chicken Caesar type of thing. Good lunches right there. But yeah, never hamburgers. So maybe I'll put that request in because the guy, I'm not going to say his name, but he
used to give sandwiches all the time.
They are taking requests. They do take requests.
Yeah, I like.
So I'm going to have to put a request in there for a nice little hamburger. Is a hamburger a sandwich?
No. Hamburger's a hamburger.
I mean, meat in the middle of two buns.
Hamburger's a hamburger, hot dog's a hot dog.
I mean, I agree. Like when you tell someone you want a hamburger, they don't go, oh, like, they don't
it's more like
think it's a sandwich.
If I ask for a sandwich and you bring me a hamburger, did you fulfill my request? To me, the answer is no. So therefore, a hamburger is not a sandwich.
The thing is, what if you ask for a sandwich and I bring you like a tuna sandwich?
That's a sandwich.
Okay, but I'm just saying, like, you didn't specify which.
Yeah, but at least be like happy.
I'm just hearing something. So USO, yeah, no, I agree. I think I would not. I mean, it's like some people even say that hot dogs are sandwiches. That for sure. I cannot wrap my head around that one. Okay, I just heard a little bit in my ear. There's something about Trump. What else is new? But not much going on there. Look at the S&P 500. Look at the Nasdaq, man. You're getting clubbed right there. We took advantage of that dip buy in USO. Bitcoin tanking right now as well. So yeah, something going on. We could take a quick little look at the US dollar going. Yeah, what? Just as I thought. There goes the US dollar trying to tick up right now. So this is probably a war escalation situation now. That's what happens. The US dollar starts to go up as we have a flight to safety. We could probably take a quick look at GLD here as well and have a look at what gold's doing. Down. Okay, so opposite there. US dollar going up, gold going down. Oil trying to go up, but oil's already been going upside as well. We have a $2 club winner here on USO today. And we had 5 units down there, so it was a good trade. Let's go back over to Sia. She's got news.
Yeah, just looking at U.S. President Donald Trump currently talking in the Commander-in-Chief Trophy presentation. Just a couple of things he is saying right now. He's not going to let Iran have nuclear weapons. That's all. And we're doing extremely well in Iran. Just an update. And Iran has no navy anymore. 58 ships have been knocked down.
There you go. And we got, this is great news. The super chat. I just glanced and saw it there. Adam James abroad, home from the hospital. You beautiful bar stewards. Look at my girl Anna. So you like that Anna stock greeting me. Let go, happy Friday.
Did you have a kid? Is that why?
Everyone buy Anna. Okay, we can't tell people to buy stock. I get it. I'll always cheer for anything to go up, and I hope that the small cap rate goes for you. Please, okay. And 86, Chuck Norris. Yeah, rest in peace, Chuck Norris. Hey, great look there, Adam James. And yeah, glad that Anna's going for you. I don't know if Sharif just sat down, but No word of a lie. That just halted to the upside. You can't make this stuff up. It just halted at $6.18, ANNA. The current tap is 6.37, so it's indicating it wants to open higher. Now, obviously, this one would be above VWAP there, Sharif, because it just broke the high of the day. And I think we had looked, it was a 3.5 million float. They were, I think it was some kind of an energy name. I'd have to double check. But ANNA on 30 million of volume, looking very, very good. That's great news there, Adam. Appreciate you.
Yeah, we don't know what the hospital was about, but it's always good to get out of it. That is for sure. So
yeah, I mean, it's not. Yeah, it's not.
That's why I said a congratulatory if it was a kid, if they had a kid and they're home. But I don't know if that's what it was because I saw this. The Anna.
I think it's either good news or congratulations.
Kid's name's not Anna, I guess. So
maybe the kid's name is Anna. I don't know.
I doubt it. I mean, the stock is moving today, so that would be wild.
I'll be dead ass honest. Like if
halted.
That'd be dead honest. I think I would say. Like if your kid was born on a day, if you're a trader and your kid was born on the same day that, let's just say you made a bunch of money on ANNA, and then your kid gets born, you have a girl, there's crazier things than calling them Anna. I'm not even saying that that's true. By the way, the tap is now flat, so it's indicating a flat open on ANNA if you happen to be watching.
I already did.
Yeah, but that's a little different.
Yeah, I've already put it in. My there was a copyright. I tried to name all three of my kids Palantir, but unfortunately, I got a phone call from Alex, and he was like, "Do you really want to do that?" And I was like, "Nah." Yeah, Palantir. Whoa, that was a good one, and maybe I can get away with naming them Alex or something. But yeah, we just took $2 on USO. There's only 2 minutes left right there. But yeah, I don't think you want to name your kid after a stock. But if you do, that's good for you. I mean, there's been weirder things.
People name their kids after a lot of stuff, man.
Someone named their kid. Was it? I forget who it was. Apple. I forget her name there.
Yeah, it was
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah.
There it is. Good one there.
How do you do that
on the tip of my tongue there.
You know what kids are gonna
Paltrow.
do.
Future's kid named his kid Future. So okay, what's going on over there, Sia? Yeah, Future One or something called that.
Are we going to?
Yeah, we're going to see it. Was that what it was or no? No, we are not.
Oh, we're not.
I thought that's what we
I
heard
didn't think I heard anything
there in our ear. Okay, it doesn't matter anyways. Yeah, so there's Apple doing that. I wanted to see what Google was doing as well today. 301, like it's almost getting into that buy zone for me, man. Like I really, for myself again, like this 280 to 290 area for Google. I don't think we dipped down there that day, but I can't remember. I don't even remember a 290 print on Google, but apparently on these charts it did happen twice. I'm actually, before I throw it back to Neil, I actually do want to confirm. No, see, I don't see that here on eSignal.
Well, there's all kinds of bad.
So, yeah, I was going to say, I don't remember it getting into 290, let alone breaking it. So it looks like that's close enough, though, man, like 295. So that's a legitimate low. I was thinking, like, in and around this 280, not even way, like, 260 would be great as well. But I don't think 280, I think if I stepped in there on a downward trending market, I don't think I would feel any kind of ways about that. So, all right, man, it's 10:59, a couple more seconds and we're out of here. Obi in the afternoon, Neil be with you. And then we do have Sharif and Joe sitting patiently right now.
Mr. Leahy, first of all, you win. I'm putting it, even just for the name, you get that one. Shout out to Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah, of course.
My favorite character in Trailer Park Boys. Great actor. Heard a story of a kid born, in Kia, in a Kia, named Kia. Parents got a free car. My daughter,
smart.
2026 Audi RS6 Avant with performance package will turn 3 soon, and Audi is not returning your calls. Well, you know what, Audi, you've got to do better. I mean, come on.
Exactly.
I appreciate you.
More news. I mean, there has to be something going on right now again as the market